Good evening, guys. Another installment of the Saturday evening live stream. How are you doing, guys? I see one in the house. Please type in the chat so I know who you guys are. It makes everything easier. And besides, how has your week been? I hope your week has been good. Mine has been pretty much stressful, but it happens. And it has been a lot of things to do at work, so we wait a couple of more minutes and wait until more people join before we get into today's topic. So, did I mute that one? Yeah, I did. Good. And for a reminder, I just pinned the StreamYard link in the top of the chat as usual. So, please type in the chat so I know who you guys are. It makes it easier for me. So, again, please type in the chat so I know who you are. Hey, PB. Hey, Preparedness Veteran. Good to see you, brother. Okay. No problem, Preparedness Veteran. No problem. And the sec you have. It's good to see you, brother. Mahendra Neda, good to see you, my friend. How are you doing? How has your week been? My week has been pretty busy and stressful because this week we had Midsummer Eve yesterday and today it's Midsummer Day. And it's a pretty huge festival we have to celebrate the midsummer. How to garden? Good to see you, brother. How are you doing? Well, this heat takes the edge on me. I don't feel that good when it's hot and high temperatures. It feels like it is tropical heat over here, so but I do my best to keep and stay cool, but it's not that easy. How are you doing, How to Garden? Getting ready for work, huh? Well, you have to do that too. Hey, PB.
Hey, Shadow, you okay? Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Hey,
Yeah, I can hear you.
So, how are you getting on?
So, how has your week been? Preparedness?
Yeah, it could have been better, I suppose. Had a car crash this week.
Oh, that sucks.
I drive carefully, I drive defensively all the time.
Yeah.
And driving along, about to turn right, and then someone just crashed into the side of me. Just pulled straight out, crashed into the side of me. So, anyway, no injuries. Car needs 2 brand new doors, and the back wheel arch needs fixing. So, insurance paying for everything basically. So one of the bonuses, I got full insurance on it. And
because that was not your fault. It was the other dude's fault.
Yep. So they come away, took the car away, and we got a replacement car for the duration of the repairs. So we're going to go around driving around a Skoda Skoda Fabia for the next 10 days.
Well, that's a good car.
Yeah, it's a good car. The bonus thing, it's got air conditioning, so we could jump in the car when it gets too hot.
Well, that's good.
So yeah, I hear you got you have a midsummer festival.
Yeah, midsummer. We've celebrated that yesterday. But
that goes on in the whole of the Nordic areas, doesn't it? Sweden, Denmark, Norway, Finland. Is that right?
I'm not sure about really, but I think it's more like a heathen tradition.
Oh, okay. Yep.
So
what do you have, barbecues and stuff, or?
Yeah, it's barbecuing, and we have the maypole.
Oh, right. Yep.
People dancing around that one.
Yeah. No druids.
No druids. No. Haven't seen any.
Stonehenge every year. You get the druids, and But Stonehenge, you got to pay so much to get in there nowadays. It's unbelievable the price you pay. You're not allowed up to the stones anymore.
Okay.
It's about 25 meters away from the stones. You can actually get, unless on special occasions like Midsummer's Morning, summer solstice, you're allowed. They grant special permission for the druids because it's some sort of faith-based thing, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, not so bad, I suppose. They're kicking off over that because there's plans in to build a tunnel underneath Stonehenge, the Rhodes Tunnel.
Yeah.
And because, of course, they don't fully know what it was or why it was there. And for all they know, underneath Stonehenge could be some other sort of thing, you know, burial mound or whatever.
Yeah.
Nice area of the country, though. Yeah, I mean, it literally didn't. It was about an hour and a half of darkness here this week, and then for our longest week, daylight.
Yeah.
Do you get darkness there at the moment, or is it always light?
Well, it's the sun doesn't go down until maybe around 11, 12,
Right.
midnight. So
yeah. And then what's the temperature there now? Then what sort of daytime temperature are you getting?
Today we had around 23, I believe.
Okay, not too bad, I suppose. But if you're not used to it, it can be a bit drastic.
Yeah, the problem is my body can't adapt to the heat.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That is, I can't adapt to heat at all. My body doesn't. accept it. So I can adapt when into lower temperatures. If I can go in the freezer at work, and it's maybe minus 22 to 24 degrees Celsius in the freezer, and I don't feel that it's not that cold. Actually, it's feels comfortable to me.
Yeah. Cold weather person then.
Yeah.
I used to like the hot and the heat, but I just can't be doing with it anymore.
Yeah.
Must be something to do with age. I'm only 53. But... So we got anyone in the chat? Have we? How to garden?
Yeah.
How to garden? How you doing?
He's doing good. He's getting ready for work. So.
Oh. So how to garden? What do you do for work? Put it in the chat. Nothing. Don't have to describe anything in detail. Interesting to see what you do. Yeah. So this week, it's been typical summer day. I suppose it's been very warm, light winds, a bit of rain here and there. Not too bad overall. It's a good job. It's got a good wind, because without the breeze, it'll be just too hot, too much.
Yeah, we had. It was windy a bit today as well. So.
Yeah. So apart from the car crash, wasn't too bad. I did some mega exercise week this week. Culminated in I did 500 squats as part of my leg exercise session.
Yeah.
The next day I could hardly walk.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way it goes, I suppose.
How to garden work is construction and landscaping.
Ah, nice, good. Construction and landscaping.
Yeah.
It's outdoor work, I take it. So yeah, better than being stuck in an office, I suppose.
Yeah, just stuck in the office, and
unless it's air conditioning.
Yeah.
Free tea, coffee, and biscuits and stuff.
Yeah.
Free perks.
But you don't get that much exercise on the office.
No. Well, yeah, that's it. When you're in an office, you've got to make the best of every sort of opportunity to get out and do something and move around.
Yeah.
It can be all too easy just to sit there and veg, I suppose.
Yeah.
And today it's our Armed Forces Day in Britain.
Okay.
We celebrate our glorious armed forces, Army, Navy, Air Force, all associated attachments. So up and down the country, there's various little festivals and charity events going for the various armed forces charities and stuff. So how to garden's outside in the tropical heat. But it's nice in the winter.
Nice in the winter.
He must be, whereabouts is he then? South? Somewhere in the southern hemisphere?
Yeah, probably. Hey, Vanessa, good to see you, ma'am.
Vanessa, good to see you. So, is CR going to turn up?
No, he is quite busy today. But he will try to pop up. But
tell you something funny, right? When you in the mornings, I always have a quick scoot around people's videos, watch all the videos I can, and get them out of the way in the first sort of half hour to an hour. And I watched CR's video the other day, and it's only a short video. Forget what it was about. But I found myself going down this side road in the first part of his video. It was like a zooming in of the world down to this location. I spent about 45 minutes trying to find that exact location. I pinned it down to one area in Salzburg, I reckon it was, but I couldn't actually find the actual street. It was a bit sad, but it's one of those things you get sidetracked doing on the internet.
Yeah. Well, today's topic: gold and silver.
Yep. So, have you got any gold or silver?
No, I don't have, but I have planned. Gold coins are really expensive, and silver coins are not. Well, they are expensive, but less expensive than gold coins.
Yeah. I've been considering buying gold for a couple of years now, 5 or 6 years. I've looked into it off and on, and I just can't bring myself to do it.
Okay, Howard Garden, take care, stay safe, and
see you later.
Thanks for stopping by.
Garden, have a good one. Yeah, I just can't get myself to buy it. I mean, I understand the principles behind it, but
and if you are going to buy gold and silver, you need to buy it from a dealer who has good reputation. Well known.
I've come to the conclusion with gold and silver that it's not an investment, put it that way. It's a security. So you're buying something not for a total SHTF event, something on a personal financial sort of SHTF, if you like. Yeah. And if you to do that, so what I'm getting at is, so you buy gold and you keep it so it holds its value in line with goods. So the old adage is, you probably heard this before, gold will buy you now the same suit that it would have bought you 30 years ago. So it goes up in line with things like that. Now, the conclusion I came to is that if you want to, so basically you buy gold and it sits there, and if you need to access it, it hasn't lost value. It's retained its value in line with inflation, and you haven't lost any. It hasn't devalued because it's always going up slowly on the trend line. Yeah. You're not going to make any money through an investment because of that reason. But the thing people have got to take into consideration is you've got to have that gold for such a time in which the value of the gold rises above the transaction fee. So when you buy gold and sell it, you're paying the middleman, the person who does the transaction for you, a fee. Yeah. So you've got to keep that gold until the value goes up beyond that fee. Otherwise, you're going to lose money.
Yeah.
So if you're going to do that, I came to the conclusion then, for me, it's not worth buying any unless I'm going to buy some of the value of about £5,000 worth and keep that for at least 7 years. And after that 7 years, I would have maintained the value of that gold in 7 years standards compared to today. But what I'm talking about there is either gold bullion in terms of big bars, or you can get smaller slices of bullion by the ounce, or you can buy coins. I'm not really bothered about special edition coins. I'm talking coins which are encased. The ones encased in the plastic that haven't been touched. So mint coins, British gold coins, or the famous one, Krugerrands, or the silver. Sorry, not silver. Well, the silver dollars.
Yeah, silver dollar. Canada has their maple leaf.
Yeah, and the equivalent in gold coins for these countries. So Britain, Canada, America, South Africa, Krugerrands. So they're worth getting, I suppose. Or you could go down the scrap gold route, which can be quite lucrative. I mean, you could have inherited loads of scrap gold. You could have a bag of scrap gold from your grandmother, your mother, you know, whoever. Scrap gold is probably the easiest to actually get rid of and sell, really, at a moment's notice, because you can just walk into any high street gold merchant and they'll offer you the spot price, and they'll take their little transaction fee, and you'll probably make a bit of money out of it. So yeah, there's a corner shop near us, and the story goes is the mother of the owner left. I think it was Uganda when it all kicked off with the Amin, and she walked out the country and emigrated to Britain, wearing her gold, and her husband, gold chains, gold rings, like bracelets. And it was only for that reason they managed to bring all their wealth out of the country, or most of it, and set up their new little business, which is still going today. So I mean, gold jewelry has got its value in that for those reasons.
Yeah.
But when you actually look at the value of gold, why it's valued, it's a bit of a mystery, really. When you look at the price of gold, the spot price, that spot price that you see as a customer or someone who's about to do a transaction is the price which is 15 minutes behind the actual live price that traders use on the stock exchanges.
Yeah.
So you're getting you're classed as sort of the end customer, and you're not getting that vision of the price of the true on the spot price. You're getting a 15-minute delay, and that goes with quite a few things. That goes with shares as well. One interesting thing to look at, if you can call up a website, there's a website called Bullion by Post.
Yeah, I'm on that website. I found that website.
Right.
When you said it.
Right, okay. On that website, look at top right-hand corner, just click on gold. Put it on screen. I'll show you what I'm about to talk about.
I can put it on screen, yeah. Present. There we have you.
Right. And then instead of looking at week, go to the 3 dots that's next to year and change that to all time. Scroll down the bar.
Oh, there.
That's all time. Right. That's the all-time price of gold. So it gets
1,764.90 euros.
Yeah, click on the little X on the bottom right so we can see the whole of the graph. Yeah, that's it.
Take that away.
Scroll up slightly so we can see the date. Right, there we go. Right. Down a bit. Sorry. Scroll down a touch so we can see the date at the bottom. There we go. Right. So, is that all time?
Yeah, it's all time.
2005. It should start from 1970.
It says from
1975. It should start at. I think you have to actually click on the all-time button, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
All right.
It says all time. So
Right. Okay. Right. So, yeah, look at the scroll down for the scale there. What's that on the bottom left? First of the first 20.
2002.
Oh, right. Yours is different to mine. My one starts in 1975. It might be because it's euro.
Yeah, it's euro. I can change it to.
Yeah, change it to pounds. See what happens. What's the date start at now? 1974.
Right, here we go.
Right, I've looked at this graph now for a while. And if you look at the graph, from 1975 all the way to about 2006, it sort of remains in a very shallow, steady incline. So the gold price is rising at a very slow, steady rate. And all of a sudden, for some reason, it rockets up at the 2011 stage.
Yeah.
Dips a bit and then rockets up again to where we are today. And the question is, what has made the price of gold go up so drastically from 2006 in that 5 years up to 2011, that first big peak?
Yeah.
About, I don't know, I can't find the real reason, but I know it's loose. The price of gold is loosely related to inflation, loosely, because inflation and gold sort of almost go hand in hand. But I can't really find any event that's in history, whether it be in America, China, Russia, or anything around the world, that made that spike go all the way up so quickly. So we're talking then now from, let's say 2003, where it's a nice timeline there. So 20 years, it's got a massive rise, and the previous 30 odd years, it's shallow. What has changed between those two periods of time? Because these days, I mean, all someone has to do is mention something in the news, someone famous, and it alters the whole price of the stock exchange and things drastically. Elon Musk just has to say how crap Dogecoin is, and the price of Dogecoin falls to the bottom. But it's always mystified me what the relationship is and why these spikes go up and down. Specifically, if we're not on the gold standard.
Yeah. So, and if we take a look at the year we are here now, that is, the gold price has gone up skyrocket.
Yeah, £1,607 in April, May. So
April.
Looking at that line, it tells me that it's going to keep going up and up and up and up and up. So is it worth buying? I'd say yes. But I would keep it for looking at that line at least 5 years to get your money back from any sort of transaction fee.
Yeah.
I don't know. I could be wrong, but I'm just. This is something.
Hey, Guardian Outdoor Fitness. Good to see you, brother.
GP, how you doing? All right?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm very good. Thank you, Shadow. Hi, veteran. Continue where you were.
Yeah, we're just talking about. I don't know how much you've heard previously. We're just talking about the the gold trend in that the graph there. That graph goes from 1975, so the start of the sort of value of gold by the looks of it, all the way up to today. And yeah, it's a shallow ascent, pretty shallow one. The value all the way up to about 2003 or just after. Then all of a sudden, it just skyrockets up and down, but the trend is quite significant compared to the previous 2003. And we're saying what series of events in the world has triggered these sort of spikes? Because I mean, from 75 to 2003, you've had the same sort of strife in the world. And what dictates this price? It's a bit of a mystery.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, especially to, I just know nothing about the stock exchange really to put my finger on anything, and it just puts you off actually buying anything like this. It just seems all smoke and mirrors to me. What we need, say, someone in the precious metals market to suddenly appear on the stream and tell us the scenario.
Yeah.
I mean, that's gold. Have a look at silver, see if it follows the same sort of trend line.
Yeah, we can
the
do that.
all-time sort of
silver. British pound.
yeah, silver price up left. It should have a should have a spot price as the other one did somewhere.
Okay, so for the over here for the LMBA price specifically, if you're looking at that, you can. So I'll read you something quickly. So the price of gold bullions is likely to rise in 2009 based on economic uncertainties. And there's an article, and I'll go through and read the main thing here. Soaring energy and food prices are a foregone conclusion that realistically can't be reversed without a global recession, he commented. So what was happening in 2009 was essentially a gold recession, based off of the fact that fuel and food were becoming such a inflated commodity. So when it comes to the pricing of things as well, you'll notice that roughly around about the same time, there are a couple of things that in tandem also went up the way that they did. So inflation is a huge thing, and like locally, it's locally, I think, and internationally, I think right now we can all feel the hits of how the prices have increased. Even yourself there on your side as well, Shadow, if I'm not mistaken, have things gotten quite a lot more expensive in the last several years for you as well?
Yeah. The prices has gone up. Definitely. Yeah. We have a pretty huge inflation here as well, so that pushes the prices up on everything.
Same here. Prices at some stages have almost doubled for some commodities.
Yeah.
So this is always what's put me off buying gold. I've just found another website. Factors that influence the price of gold. And there's a simple picture, Janet and John picture. 1, gold production. Yeah. 2, jewelry demand. Reserves, value of the dollar, and then the last one, market volatility. So,
hey Matt, good to see you again, brother.
Second star, all right. So yeah, like I said, for me, it's a good security, and I would keep it for at least 5 years, so you overcome the transaction fee and sort of at least claw some money back.
So yeah, I think that's a brilliant investment overall. And I know I don't want to go too much onto the topic of this, but I firmly believe in also believing in the value of seeds for SHTF type scenario as well, for trade and the actual value of seeds themselves, and not just seeds, but having seeds. Earlier, we actually were speaking about gut health. I remember if we spoke about that previously as well. Now, having a good amount of seeds can actually obviously help you for that type of scenario in SHTF as well. If you've got a good variety of seeds as well that you can replant and all your herbs and vegetables and that as well. So in the same conversation and underneath the same breath as having these precious metals, having the ability to, just have a good seed vault is something that
Tammy, good to see you.
Realize. And just knowing how to store seeds too. How, by the way, Rebel Cannons, always lovely to have Tammy here with us. It's good to see everybody.
Hey, Rebel. Yeah, I agree. For you can't eat gold, you can't eat silver. Who knows what the value is going to be if all these digital experts don't tell us what the standard is and the spot price is. So yeah, but yeah, it does have its uses, I suppose. I said earlier, there's a woman up the road. She owns a corner shop, and she left Uganda with her wealth was what she wore around her ring, the rings, her fingers, around her neck, bracelets. She basically walks out of the country wearing her wealth. So I mean, yeah, it's got its values, depending on the scale of SHTF, I suppose. And in one sense, it's worth keeping scrap gold, old jewelry, if you've got it.
Yeah, that's like, I think that,
day.
yeah, it's definitely something, and not just that, but the gold and silver is such an interesting topic because it has so many different offshoots of it as well. And not just that, but when it comes to gold and silver, and if you had, before that spark and that graph that Shadow brought up earlier, if you had somehow been able to attain a good amount of those precious metals as the inflation was going up, you would be sitting so pretty right now.
Yeah,
and if
absolutely.
can you bring that graph up one more time for us, Shadow? If you see how much, and this is the thing, like if you're able to see things before they come up, right? Not a problem. If you can't, it's no stress. So the graph was essentially, you can see the exponential growth in the graph, and you can see how it doesn't only like triple or quadruple, but it really has a dramatic, from 2009, all of a sudden, for anybody that missed it, the LBA and the gold pricing in general completely shot up in 2009, and then it kind of has a impact, and you start seeing, yeah, that's actually the correct one there. You can see that look at that. Right now, if you are smart and somehow privy to the knowledge that this is going to occur, then right about 2005, right about there, you buy a lot of gold. You spend everything you can. You go and buy. You get loans from the bank. You make sure that you and all your friends get all the loans from the bank you can, and you invest. And then when that happens, boom, then you're wealthy. You never need to work ever again. Never need to do any of the mundane medial stuff. But surprisingly, work can be good for people mentally. Surprisingly, one of my uncles actually said to me that even if he had to like win the lotto ridiculously, he would still keep his job because of the mental side to it. And I can concur to a degree. I think that there's value in it. My point being, keep your eye on the stock markets if you want to make a lot of money. I don't do it. I wish I did.
Looking at that graph.
Yeah, sure,
there is some correlation with events. You can see there in the 80s there was a big crash and into recession, and 2009, late 2010, that's when everything kicked off in recession as well. But you can't. It goes up so quick. You just can't predict it. Like, you know, you got to hedge your bets.
Guys, sorry, I'm trying to flip my camera around.
Hey, Second Star, you all right?
Hey, brothers. Okay, so I just want to say one thing for y'all. Gold and silver will lose its value at the end of the world. It will. There's too much other things at stake that humans will care about before gold and silver. I mean, if you want to, there was a person, I forgot what his name was, John something, in the 80s. He was talking about invest in diamonds because diamonds can be used for a multitude of things other than gold and silver. Because in the end of the world, it's going to be easily available to harvest gold from computers and electronics and everything, instead of wasting your money on other platforms to prep with. You know, I mean, look at the value of diamonds now after they found that there's a literal diamond-shaped planet the size of Maryland or Texas that they just recently found floating in space right now that we're trying to harvest. Like, when it comes to food and water and other resources, if you give a human a week or 2 weeks without food, they will trade their newborn child for literally a ham sandwich. It's hard to. All material things are tradable. You know what I mean?
Yep, absolutely.
And something that's going to weigh you down is going to hurt you. It's okay to, invest in a small quantity of gold and silver, but don't put your life savings into it. You know what I mean?
So I'd like to say, for the record, on this topic too, Second Star, something that, I'm fully underneath the belief that I will kind of, underneath all costs, I try to, with a community as well, you have a good community, but you avoid the majority of people. So when it comes to trading, sure, that there might be some trading, but for what I've seen throughout the past and what I've seen, sure, you got to try and help people. But when things start getting really bad and people don't see a way out, history speaks for itself. Sure, there is kindness, there's greatness within humanity. People can band together. It's great at first.
Have you ever noticed how when you watch TV, if anyone watches TV, in the times of recession and hardship, the scrap gold adverts seem to escalate. Come to us, sell your scrap gold, we top prices and all this sort of stuff.
Well, look at.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm sorry, brother. I didn't mean to cut you off. It was lagging. I thought you already stopped.
Yeah, go on. I've finished. Yeah.
Okay. I'm just looking at look at the most recent downfall of humanity in Venezuela. Okay. Yeah, people were trading gold and silver and everything. Then people stopped taking gold and silver because they had nothing to give for it. And food and a loaf of bread, people were trading Rolex watches for, and then what was it, a month after, when shelves were running empty on food and everything, people were literally going to trading their own wives for food. Like, a storekeeper, you can have my wife for 2 days as long as we can have enough food to last us for 3 days. Human, graphs and charts and everything are nice and stuff, but that's not humanity as a whole. You know what I mean? It doesn't say what.
I was just saying.
Yeah,
that's why you make sure you never need food. Okay, Second Star.
I mean, it's nice to have. I mean, gold and silver is always good at the very beginning, but what if the fall of humanity lasts? Look at the Roman Empire. Okay, when the Gauls took over, their gold, their jewelry, and everything meant nothing to them. You have to look at the past. I mean, you have to look at other times throughout history where gold and valuable items just meant nothing when it comes to survival in general. You know, it's it's nice to have it while we still have the stock.
Yeah, go ahead.
We're talking about the gold standard of prepping.
Yeah.
Excuse the pun, but we're talking about if you're at such a level where you can afford, you've got everything in terms of preps and you can all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And you've got money to disposable money that you want to keep as a security.
Yeah.
Do you actually buy gold, silver? I mean, there's other precious metals knocking around. I mean, one question: why is China buying up so much gold? Is a key question. We're talking high value sort of things here in terms of investment stuff, because there's not many people actually can afford to go out and buy gold. Anyway. So,
how much gold did China buy up?
They've been vacuuming up the world in gold for the last 10 years.
They've been doing it all the time. So, like, not just that, but I could ask, why does the CCP do half of the stuff they do?
Yeah, I think what they're what my presumption is China are securing themselves the future, hoping that the US dollar will crash as a world currency,
which it very well may.
Yeah, and another form of currency will spring to light, whatever that will be, China or whatever, and it will revert back to the gold standard, which will then shoot China up the stakes as to be sort of number one, as in terms of value. I don't know. I mean, we're just the bottom feeders at the end of the day, and what can we do really? Interestingly enough, why is the Kruger ant so valuable and so talked about in gold coin standards? The first time I ever heard of the Kruger ant was in the Lethal Weapon, the film.
It has some significance. Yeah. Obviously, here in South Africa specifically, the Kruger ant has got a lot of history.
Yeah. It's a world-renowned coin, isn't it? And everybody knows the Kruger ant now, but how did that come about? I mean, because everyone's got their own sort of world, their own national coin. It's a bit of a...
So there's also the rand obviously being South African currency, and the Kruger being a place in the country as well. That coin specifically is one of the most precious and sought after. Well, there's a couple of the coins themselves that are so sought after because of the type of gold that they were using at the time as well. Yeah, so so just doing our best brings up something where, like, you can look at the BRICS situation and you can look at G compared to G7, right? And with G7, you have a lot of influence from the countries that are outside both BRICS and G7. Like, there is, I don't even, like, the thing is, if you had to ask me about, BRICS or BRIC before South Africa joined, because BRICS obviously is just, the countries don't get along. This is the biggest thing. The countries that are inside BRICS are countries that don't see eye to eye at all, that have completely different policies. And if you look at the countries in the G7, you can see that those countries, for the most part, have very similar goals, traits. Culturally, they want the same things. Whereas you look at the vast differences between the countries in BRICS, and then even if they do make their own currency, their currency, China's a manufacturer. That's what it really is, for the most part. China is a huge manufacturer. Aside from that, though, like, I don't mean to be knocking on any countries. I'm just saying that there's a lot of...
be brutal.
Yes, exactly. Well said, yes.
Yeah, it's a difficult one. Yeah. If I had the money, if I had the spare cash, I would probably buy about £10,000 worth of gold and just put it away somewhere. The toss-up is, right, so question for everybody: do you keep £10,000 of cash under your mattress, or £10,000 worth of gold or silver, over and above a side stash of contingency money?
And if you do, where do you live?
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, that's gold. I mean, about what else we got? Silver, platinum, palladium.
Yeah, platinum is pretty expensive too.
I tell you, there's been a spate of, and this is quite big in Britain, people nicking catalytic converters.
The history buff, welcome.
Yeah, people were nicking catalytic converters from vehicles to
Yeah.
extract precious metals out of them because they're worth so much, and selling them. And they'll just brazenly get to your vehicle at night. They know exactly where to cut off, and away they go. And this is quite a common thing.
Yeah, that's terrible. You know, people sometimes will make light of that type of scenario, but I know exactly how horrible that is when it happens to you. And for example, you might not be insured. It's a time where you don't have the money to replace, because right now the economy's going through garbage as well. Like, everybody's struggling. Inflation's at an all-time high globally, and then people are doing things like that. So that's why to crime, I have no more like, I've never really had a lot of tolerance. But it's stepped up a lot. Like, I have absolutely no time for people who are thieves and people who would take advantage of other people and their vehicles or anything of theirs. Sometimes you have to be calmer. It's all I'll say.
Wasn't there, because South Africa is renowned for gold mines as well, wasn't there an incident a couple of months ago where a load of people went into a disused gold mine and something happened?
Well, we have a lot of injuries and things happening all the time, actually. That is that's what my speciality is, actually. Here locally, I work alongside a lot of those type of situations where we have people that go into mines that are not registered mines, they're not safe, they haven't had checks at all, and people can get trapped down there. And then, obviously, in those scenarios, you want to try and rescue those people as fast as you possibly can. And often rescuers themselves will put themselves in jeopardy and often get harmed rescuing people in those mining situations. It's most unfortunate that through desperation that has occurred. And I'll say it in the lightest way possible. We've had the same governing party in this country for almost 30 years. And the level of corruption is everywhere. You can Google it. You can go look, and it's right there. And then it's just, it consistently flows. And it's the most insane situation. No other country would ever tolerate it. But South Africa's had the same corrupt government that's been stealing from its people. And I'm tired of not talking about it. I'll talk about it like in that way. But you know what? The people are tired of it, and the people are working together. So the future looks good for South Africa if we keep looking at the youth. Because tomorrow's leaders aren't as... I won't get too heavily into it, but if tomorrow's leaders don't have the scars that today's leaders in this country do, and that is what can promise you that the future might look good for us.
Right, I've got a question for Shadow and yourself.
Yep.
So, if you were to, you find some gold in a stream in Sweden and South Africa, what happens next? How do you get rid of that gold and sell it in your countries? Go on, because I'll tell you about Britain next.
I'll look up the legal way to do it, and then I do it that way.
That would be probably a little bit difficult because if I find some gold in a stream and I just sell it, try to sell it anyway, they might think it's stolen. So you need to prove where you get it from and everything.
Right. Well, I mean, I'll tell you, in Britain, there's plenty of places in Britain, believe it or not, where you can go gold panning. And there's predominantly in Wales and in Scotland. And if you go gold panning and you find some gold, it's not yours. It belongs to the crown, the king. So then you've got to hand it in, and they get the money. Thank you very much. On you go. But if you were to get some gold illegally or by whatever means, you melt down your own, whatever, you can actually take it to a gold merchant, and there's various gold merchants in London which will value the gold for you, and from that point onwards, put the gold stamp on it. So you can actually turn a lump of gold into a legal amount, all fully stamped and stuff. I'm not sure the ins and outs of that, but a jeweler told me that a while ago.
So
yeah.
What I would do as well is I would buy the land of that river if I could.
Right, yeah.
And then, and then they can come and do what they want. They can have it, but at a very, very, very high price. And I know the value.
This is the differences you see in countries. In Britain, anything under the ground is owned by the crown, so you don't own it. So if you strike oil, tough, they own it. In America, if you strike oil, you're rich because you own the rights, I believe. How is that? Is that the same in South Africa then? It must be.
I will check on that quickly. Let me actually do the research for us quickly on that.
How about you, Shadow? Do you own the rights under your ground or not? Does Sweden have do you own the rights under the ground that you own? So if you find oil or gold,
if you own your own land and you find something there, that is not a problem.
So do you?
No, the government takes it. South Africa, it's the same thing. It's so
pretty
same
typical. Thing. So does Sweden have a royal family?
Yeah.
Right. Right. Okay. So I would suspect they own it. No. So yeah, it's a grey area. See.
So yeah, it's interesting. So on this side here, the state is the custodian of South Africa's mineral and petroleum resources and has a duty to administer these resources for the benefit of all South Africans. As a consequence, an owner of the surface rights has no claims to the minerals found on or under the surface of his own land. So it's for all South Africans, meaning the government.
Yeah. Pretty typical, right?
Yeah, it's worldwide. It's not even.
I mean, South Africa's gold rich, isn't it? Or is it?
Well, it used to be. It's been. It's in such a bad state, right? Because it's bad. Yeah, I'll be careful what I speak about. But what I will say is that the corruption index points to everything. Like it explains what is going on here. Like our president was found to be hiding and stashing money in his couch. I'm not even lying.
That's
like
standard politician. It'd be interesting to know to speak to any Australians here because there's various programs on TV and one of them is Aussie Gold Hunters, and you get these people and they've actually got a time limit on the amount of on which they can claim a piece of land to go gold hunting. And you actually do get teams out there gold digging around in the soil and stuff like that, and then cashing it in and stuff. That's a full-time job. Yeah, it's a bit of a weird one, isn't it? Is it?
I think no matter where you go in the world, there is all sorts of corruption, and
absolutely, yeah.
It's just one of those things. Power leads, power leading to corruption. Absolute power leading to absolute corruption. It's almost said it correctly there. Almost.
It just varies on the scale of corruption and how in your face it is with some countries. tend to find in now the more Britain particularly, they just get more brazen about things, and just it's a case of, well, whatever. It will be forgotten about next week. You know.
Oh, you're not going to speak about Russia? Russia's a very serious situation at the moment.
Russia, yeah.
But we've got to be careful what words we talk about. I realize that.
Has Wagner actually got to Putin yet?
I don't even know what to think about the whole situation. Like, I know it's quite a big one, and I know that there is a lot going on that side of the world right now. I also know that, like next year is going to be an extremely interesting year for the world as well. Looking at, and here locally, we're going to have our elections, and then in the US, there's elections. So it's usually around election time where things get a bit interesting. And then on top of it, with everything that's going on right now, it just seems like, like tension is high everywhere, you know?
Yeah, such a tenuous situation all over the place here. I mean, in 1 week, for instance, on the news here, I've trawled through news articles. I don't watch the news. I've seen things ranging from the nuclear power plant in Ukraine about to be blown up by the Russians, all the way through to potential coup in Russia. And it's just ridiculous. From Moscow, you've got a radioactive waste that could be blown around all of Europe and contaminate God knows what, all the way through to destabilizing the largest country in the world. It's ridiculous, really. Interesting to in Britain, particularly because we've got a long history of we got a long history. We got a lot of people who go out metal detecting, and they go on beaches, farmers' fields, any scrap bit of land. You'll see the odd metal detector. And I think what metal detectorist is, and this goes back to the Crown owning the land, is that if you find something on someone's land, firstly, you've obviously got to have permission to go metal detecting. Secondly, if you find something, then you've got to declare that straight away, and that then gets determined whether or not it's a historical item, archaeological item, and then after a couple of months, normally, the value of the found items, no matter how precious they are, gets split into two. The landowner gets half, and the finder gets half as well. And there's been quite a lot of really precious metal finds in Britain. You've got Roman hoards, hundreds of gold coins being found. You've got a thing called the Sutton Hoo find in southeast England, where an old ship was carrying an old king, and on that ship was millions of pounds worth of gold, and intricately carved gold, helmets, swords, armor, and all this sort of stuff. And there's week by week, there's gold being found, and precious metals, artifacts ranging all the way back thousands of years beyond Roman times that people are finding, and they're if you can put the time and effort in and you find something, it's well worth the walk and the detector. But as I say, half goes to the landowner and half goes to the finder. In this instance, the Crown doesn't get any of it.
Yeah, I think there's not much more materialistic items in the world that I'd rather have, other than having some of that armor that is legitimately made for warfare times, and to be able to have it as a set of armor for the purpose of having armor, not for like anything else, and I'd actually keep it stored extremely carefully as well.
Yeah.
Just because you never know. Like, you never know when you need a set of armor. I'm not even joking. I guess, you know, being a South African.
I've got medieval stuff. In fact, just down the road from where I am now is a place called Leeds. And in Leeds is a thing called the Royal Armouries. And it's a huge museum. And it's free to go into. And this museum is 7 or 8 stories high. A real large footprint building. And it contains weapons, firearms, going back to all the first ever firearms used, suits of armor, all the original stuff. It's a really, really good trip, really worth the trip. And if I ever go there again, I'll do a video on it. And it's got all these items in. And going back to sort of, you know, if you take away the rifle and the gun, you're left with the basic weapons that they used to use in medieval times, and you're back to swords, shields, suits of armor, maces, pikes, and all this sort of stuff. And there's, you know, for someone who can't afford firearm, they are definitely good defensive items to to consider. Yeah,
because the whole if World War III occurs, World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones. Yeah. And why not have sticks and stones in the most advanced way possible, and have sticks and stones that were crafted by people that knew what they were doing, that knew how to make proper armor, which they took it to that whole other level when they made like iron, and they made steel, and they made like the most ridiculous when it came to different types of metals as well, and functionality too. Armor that is made so that it can still be light enough to wear, but heavy enough that it protects you, that's comfortable enough as well, dependent on the user. Some of the armors that were made throughout the world are extremely amazing. To just like go look at some of like the different types of cultures and different types of armors that have been used throughout the world in different scenarios as well. You have like across the world in specifically in some of the Eastern countries, some of it's like the Asian countries, like in Asia as well. Like you have some of your countries in the UK, like in Scotland, some of the armor there. It's amazing. You can actually go and look up some of the armors on some of the armor that has been made throughout the world. If you're speaking about metals as well, it actually is quite relevant, and you'll find that there is a vast amount of really amazing, beautiful artwork for you to look at that has been made by humankind throughout history. So yeah, armor is, I love armor. It's something that I've always wanted. I actually create a bit of DIY armor myself, just for times of needing armor, but that's not something that I really want to go into too heavy right now.
Have a look at Shadow. Pull up a picture called the Sutton Hoo helmet. It's SUTTON space Hoo, HOO.
Yeah.
The Sutton Hoo helmet, and bring it on screen. This thing is absolutely amazing. It was discovered, I'll have to Google when it was discovered, but it's thousands of years old, and the intricacy in this helmet is unbelievable. You'd be hard pushed to replicate this thing today. So the skill involved, and it's gold, silver, and all sorts of stuff on it.
Let's see.
Sutton Hoo helmet.
You mean this style?
Yeah, that top middle one.
That one?
Yeah. This was on that wreck that was found buried with a hoard of gold. And that is, I don't know if you can get a bigger picture than that, but look at the detail in that. It's just unbelievable. So well done.
Yeah, that's a cool helmet.
A lot of it's also made to intimidate your opponents as well. So in battle, if somebody actually is an aggressor coming at you and they're wearing a piece like that, and they are very well trained in whatever weaponry that they have with them as well, it definitely puts on an intimidating force when they believe that they have taken on. And that, so some of the special armors as well were yeah, I don't want to speak too much about the spiritual side of it either, but it's quite interesting what the beliefs that people had were, and how certain armor can enhance the user's like physical capability as well. And that is, it's weird how it works, but there's a lot of things that are lost, and a lot of things similar to this that was lost through the burning down of the libraries of Alexandria. There was a vast amount of information on blacksmithing as well, forging techniques. You look at things like the Greek fire, if you're familiar with that is. Like there's a lot of things that are the Roman fire, sorry. There's a lot of Roman and Greek fire different. I think it's the Greek fire that is able to burn on water. But yeah, there's a lot of techniques in the old world that we have definitely lost, and it's absolutely appalling that happened. We lost so much technology, and we could have been very far ahead if the libraries of Alexandria had not been burned down. I'm just saying.
Yeah. This just to put it into context, this helmet. I'll read you a little thing out here. The burial at Sutton Hoo near Woodbridge, Suffolk, England, is the site of an early grave of an Anglo-Saxon king. It is believed to belong to the East Anglian king Raedwald, who died around AD 624. The burial contained a ship fully equipped for the afterlife, as well as expensive and ornate armor and weaponry. The artifacts were often decorated with precious metals and stones. Included was this heavily decorated helmet. It has been suggested that the helm was aged somewhat when buried and may even date to the first part of the 6th century. So, anyway, going back to the gold and silver and precious metals thing,
Yeah.
you go out in Britain, and you could very well find this sort of stuff just through metal detecting. So it's if people got the time, go for it. Yeah, good stuff.
Good, bro. Good, you find it.
So if I was, I can't see. You got gold and silver as your topic. If you could afford it, then why not just buy gold instead of silver? Because the price difference is so cheap. Would it be because silver is more divisible? It's particularly if you're buying coins, for instance. Questions throughout there. Also, is it the 1943 silver dollars, or the American dollar coins, which are made of silver?
Yeah.
Which you can quite easily cash in. Interestingly enough, we're talking about the scale of various types of SHTF. It doesn't have to be a complete SHTF for you to actually go and seek out gold, because I've heard stories of people in India, places like that go out and extract the gold out of computer components and sell that on. So you're talking about getting the volume of computer components, getting the gold out of them and selling them on. It might sound as if it's really not worth the effort, but it happens over here, even with things like copper wire theft.
Yeah, copper theft is huge. Copper theft is huge here, preparedness veteran. They were stealing so I can throw a stone from my home to where they were stealing copper piping like today. So that's how close it is. It happens everywhere all the time here.
Yeah. So I mean, people in this day and age, when the rest of the economy is going well and they're sort of wanting, they're rock bottom. I don't know. It's another option out there, I suppose. But whether it's realistic or not, I don't know. Sometimes gold comes in places often not thought about, particularly for its high conductivity value.
Give me 2 minutes real quick. I'm going to be away from keyboard. I just need to go take some coffee next door real quick.
Yep.
Okay, no problem. Hey, Diors.
Dios, you all right?
Silver, and if you stock up on silver, and let's say you have a job and you lose it, you have extra stocked up, so you can sell the silver and get money for it, so you can manage a little bit longer than you normally would do.
Yeah, if you've kept it and you can overcome the transaction value when you sell it to a dealer.
Yeah.
I think this is what it all comes down to for the average person, really, because, I mean, I'm pretty comfortable, but I'm not at the stage where I'm fully prepped and can afford, you know, I'd like to be fully prepped, which I'm almost there, and I'd like to have a stash of contingency money in cash. And I'd like to then consider some sort of precious metal as a security. And I'm not there. So is there that many people who are actually going to be in that position? I mean, I've heard of people gold stacking and silver stacking and collecting gold coins and silver coins, all this sort of stuff. And they buy one every couple of years or one a month or whatever. But they're doing that for some sort of extra sort of income and trade, I suppose. But like I say, it'll all come down to the overcoming that dealer transaction fee. Is anyone in the chat who's actually got gold or silver coins? Or if they don't want to admit it, say they know someone who has. Hey, Dios, all right?
Hey, Diors.
Sorry, I woke up probably about an hour ago. I'm getting used to working nights again. It's like, oh man, what an adjustment.
Right, so just doing our best. It's got silver coins. We accumulate many of our silver coin by coin roll hunting. What's all that about?
I don't have any gold, but I do have silver. I've got I think it was 42 ounces of silver.
Right. Is that in coins or bars or what?
It's in some of it's in bars, most of it's in silver rounds, and then some of it's pre-1965 minted silver U.S. coins like dimes.
Right.
Where they're 90% silver.
Yeah.
So what was the reason behind you starting with the silver to begin with?
Diversification of my wealth, just another means of trade and barter for when the paper currencies and electronic currencies inevitably become worthless.
Right. So is it right that so you bought them for a fixed price through a dealer? How long would you have to keep those to maintain that value?
I mean, I figured that a person's still going to take a haircut regardless, and as far as the silver goes, and any of the precious metals, you're still going to take a haircut. There's always a premium that's charged, even for the pre-minted 90% junk silver that I was talking about. That's pre-minted, quarters and dimes and all that.
Yeah,
there's still going to be a minor premium that you pay for, and you don't recover any of that money back, by the way, for the premium. Because ultimately, when the dealers the scrappers and all that, and or even the pawn shops go to buy these coins off you, they're always going to pay you a spot price for the coins. In fact, some of them might even be willing to pay you a couple dollars below spot price, depending on how desperate you are to sell it. So I figure I'm always going to take a haircut, but I always figure that I'm going to maintain at least 85% of its original value. Right. Now, that being said, some of my silver I bought when it was going for like 14, 15 bucks an ounce. And that was about what I paid for it. That was years ago. That was like 5 years ago. So now some of that silver now, I mean, the last time I haven't looked at silver prices lately as far as spot price go, but I was looking at spot price probably a few weeks ago, and like silver was like 25 bucks an ounce now. So like some of it technically, if I wanted to, I could sell it right now and made some money, you know, almost double, you know, the money that I put in.
So what made you buy silver instead of gold?
Silver is more of a, what do you call it? It's a merchant's money, whereas gold is more of a rich man's money. Gold is an incredibly concentrated amount of wealth. Like, unless you were doing some like major purchases, it's, I don't know. Gold is just too much, you know, for what 1 ounce of gold could buy. You know, if we were to do like an exchange, you're looking at like a shoebox worth of silver compared to 1 ounce of gold, and it's like, it's not always appropriate. I mean, unless you were doing some large purchases after the crap hits the fan, I don't see the point in a person having even 1 ounce gold. Like, even to get fractional coins, like gold coins or even silver coins, those are always going to have a much higher premium than, say, 1 ounce, 2 ounce, 3 ounce, 5 ounce coins, because, you know, the energy involved to melting down the gold, melting it down into the round, and then striking it or whatever, you know, to put whatever pattern. Or also, by the way, the more ornate the gold coins, silver coins in question are, you know, the more ornate the bars are, the higher the premium is going to be. You know, the premium is the price charged to basically melt those down and then turn them into ornate product. You know, that's why a lot of people go for the 90% pre-minted stuff, because there's a lower premium, less money that you're losing in the initial purchase. But no, like I said, the gold, it's just, like I said, it's just an extremely high concentration of wealth. Like I watched a few months ago, I watched a video of a guy extracting, you know, you were talking about extracting gold from used electronic components. Yeah. And I seen the work involved. I mean, it's not like it's an easy process, and it's not, you know, it's something that you have to learn how to do. For one, you got to have the equipment. There's actually chemicals involved to separate the gold foil from these. It's actually gold foil that people are trying to pull from these electrical connections for these like hard drives and, you know, speaker output, you know, these video cards and all that. They're trying to separate that. And like I said, there's a lot of chemicals involved, hydrochloric acid, where they have to dissolve everything. And then they got other chemicals involved they have to put in after they've got everything dissolved to basically re-solidify the gold and get it back into its solid form. Like I said, I mean, I'm sure once you learn it, it's pretty easy, but there's a big learning curve. You know, average Joe person like myself is to try to learn how to do this stuff. And then I guess my question is too, what do I do with all these chemicals after they've been used? You know, I got to get them disposed of. But I tell you what, this guy, he collected quite a bit of old video cards and everything like that. You know, got him, I mean, a big bundle. You know, imagine taking, you know, two of your hands, whatever, and trying to make make a circle or whatever, have big bundle of them, put them in this container and dissolve them with hydrochloric acid, and got the gold separated from all that, and then he melted that all down. And I think he extracted, I don't know, might have been like an ounce or an ounce and a half of gold.
Yeah.
I mean, that was some pretty good money what he did, but man, I don't know how much the chemicals cost to do all that. I don't know what he paid on the equipment.
More than the gold, probably. So, how did you buy your silver? Did you go to a dealer direct?
I actually online. I go on the reputable online dealers. Like I used to go on the American Precious Metal Exchange, but then those guys started charging like service fees on top of the premiums that you were already paying for the silver and precious metals. So I started going to other bullion websites like was it JM Bullion, SD Bullion. SD Bullion is my favorite. I will not buy anything off of eBay. I will not buy anything basically off of anything that's not certified as a reputable site, like reputable dealer.
How do you actually determine what's reputable?
Yeah, those sites, those specific sites, they wouldn't be allowed to be doing business over here in the U.S. if they weren't reputable as far as selling silver.
For me, or anyone out there who is clueless about where to start buying gold online, are they registered with anyone, and do they have some sort of registered number that they can check up there that actually a confirmed dealer? Or
I'm sure there probably is. I don't have the specific details for that info, but the other thing I could tell you is to maybe start at pawn shops. But like I said, there can be some pawn shops that are kind of fly by night as far as their business activities are concerned. I mean, I've yet to run across one yet, but like I said, I stick with those websites because they are mainstream. I avoid the eBay because you don't know who the sellers are. They're kind of they are most definitely anonymous, nameless, faceless sellers, and this is part of the reason why most of my silver that I buy, it's in 1 ounce denominations. I could get a better deal if I buy it in 5 or 10 ounce denominations for the lower premium. However, and the same is said for gold too. However, you run the risk if you're buying this stuff from some nameless entity, like somebody off of eBay, you run the risk that somebody could be casting a less than valuable piece of metal, like a piece of tungsten or a piece of steel, in the core of your 10 ounce bar of whatever it is you're buying.
That was one of the first things that crossed my mind when someone mentioned buying gold. Is you buy it off some website that you can't really confirm who they are, and then a couple of days later in the post arrives this gold bar, and as far as you're concerned, it could be painted.
Yeah.
Although you can get gold testers, but like you say, in the core of whatever you buy, it is a risk, I suppose, and a gamble like everything else. But
yeah.
Good info.
That's why I stick with 1 ounce. I try to stick with 1 ounce. I generally don't buy anything above 3 ounce. I mean, you can still cast something in the center of a 3 ounce, whether it's a 3 ounce coin. Well, technically they would call them rounds, 3 ounce round, or a 3 ounce bar, but it's less likely. But where you got a 10 ouncer or something bigger, they could cast whatever they want in the center of that, and you might not even know. You might not be any the wiser. That's why you'll see. I remember there was a few TV shows years ago. I remember watching it. I think Pawn Stars was one of them, but they'd have these people bringing in these giant friggin', bars of either gold or silver to pawn or whatever, and they literally would have to take it to the back to a press in the center of the bar or whatever it is that they're selling to make sure that there wasn't anything less than precious cast in the middle of it.
Yeah. So how about gold or silver gold chains and scrap gold? Which would you go for?
Myself, I stay away from that. I'm not a jeweler. I don't have the test kits, and I from my untrained eye, I wouldn't be able to tell the difference between 18 karat from 24, from 10 karat to 8 karat. Like I just wouldn't be able to. I'm not a jewelerist, and I don't have, like I said, don't have there's like acids and everything, and there's like the scratcher plate or whatever to determine what the purity of that gold is, like gold or silver is. I stay away from the jewelry and the chains and all that. Again, jewelry is extraordinarily marked up. Like you want to talk about a major premium. There's a major premium on jewelry. Let's just talk about silver for just a few seconds there. Okay. So like I said, average going rate for silver. And like I said, I haven't looked at the spot price. I'm going to just say it's $25 an ounce. Okay. Your gold or your silver chain or your silver ring or whatever doesn't even have 1/10 of an ounce in it. And the retail value for that is like thousands of dollars, at least a couple $1,000s. Like it's marked up incredibly high. And most people, they're going to be exchanging for your silver at basically scrap rates or at spot price. So I try to stay away from that stuff. Again, like I said, there's different purities for the scrap as far as the chains and the rings, the wedding bands and all that, and earrings or whatever people wear these days. I stay away from that. Just like I stay away from the precious stones, because myself, I'm not going to be able to tell whether or not it's a diamond or if it's a piece of glass.
Yeah.
I'm not trained. I'm not a jeweler.
Yes, the price of gold jewelry, silver jewelry, particularly
and since we're on the subject, real quick, this is similar concept. I don't buy the platinum, and I stay away from sterling silver because I myself will not be able to tell that apart from regular silver, and the average person probably not going to be able to tell that apart from regular silver. Just stick with regular gold and regular silver if you're going to get into this stuff, or either that or do what I do and have a bulkier wealth tied into brass, copper, and lead, copper jacketed lead.
Yeah. So anyone in the comments got any questions? Yes, I presume that what you're saying is gold jewelry, silver gold jewelry and silver jewelry, particularly when you're paying over and above the odds for it, because you've got to pay for the manufacturing process and the detail and the intricacies of that jewelry to make it attractable to begin with.
Yeah.
I am really just enjoying the conversation between you guys as well and learning quite a bit here. How, by the way, of yours? Good to have you on the panel.
Yeah.
FK for a bit, but yeah, continue. Go ahead, please.
And I was gonna say, yeah, and that's what a lot of the jewelry is. It's you're paying for the workmanship, the craftsmanship, and everything like that. And don't get me wrong, I mean it's beautiful and everything, but we're talking about strictly for trading and bartering purposes. Yeah, people are gonna try to go for the lowest cost for their denomination of whatever their SHTF currency is going to be. I do collect a little bit of copper, but I don't go out of my way to buy it. I just collect U.S. pennies that were manufactured prior to the year 1982.
Yeah.
When I find them, and I just hang on to them. I don't really do anything as far as because copper is on the opposite end of the spectrum as far as precious metals go. Copper is not a high enough concentration of well, and you have to have basically a truckload of copper in order for it to be worth your while to do any sort of meaningful trading. And then the question comes, is the seller that's selling whatever it is you're trying to trade for, are they willing to take your copper instead of silver?
Yeah, interesting. So another, just to slightly deviate from gold, but it's sort of related, is does anyone out there collect specifically for, like you say, diversification or long-term investments? Does anyone collect gold watches or watches of any value for future use? Because watches, the watch collector's watch market is absolutely astronomical at the moment, particularly if you've got a gold watch as well. Does anyone out there delve into such matters?
I don't know anything about watches. I'm sure if I actually sat down and was a little bit more patient, I probably could learn about it and then get into it. But aside from the name Rolex and knowing that it's worth a lot of money and knowing that it's worth an incredible amount of money, that so much so that people make a lot of fakes out there.
Yeah, that's the danger, isn't it? Well, yeah, particularly you got the big famous makes: Rolex, Patek Philippe, Seiko, C Masters, and all that sort of stuff. But
G-Shock is another one, but it's not. It's not
good
jewelry.
To see you again, brother.
It's just an expensive watch, tactical watch that people pay, upwards of like $3,000 for.
Yeah,
that's the best watch. That's the watch I use as well. I love a good G-Shock. Like, I don't even use one of the upper level ones. I use just a regular Solar, the 6900, and a G-Shock will last you for as long as you are able to keep that around with you. They're brilliant watches all around. Really good for what they're purpose built. But yeah, not so much like an investment jewelry thing, but just a great. I've had it for 4 years and it hasn't even dropped a single battery, and it's like a solar watch. So for like SHTF type scenarios, it's incredible.
Yeah,
and I dropped
solar watches are good. Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was saying that the option, the solar watches are brilliant. You just keep going forever.
Yeah, it's exactly for that. It's for SHTF. I never need to take it back. Well, eventually, I know it will kind of give in, but for the foreseeable future, it won't.
So long as there's no super volcano which blocks the sun out, or
there's a watch out there that's marketed towards survivalists such as us, that doesn't ever need a battery. You might have to wind it if for some reason you aren't moving enough, and it runs off of the fact that you're constantly moving. You're active. Otherwise, you have to wind it up to recharge it or whatever. I don't know what the heck the name of that damn watch is. I've heard of it in several different, survivalist books.
There's, that technology's been out for a while. I can remember my dad back in the 70s. He had a Seiko watch, which it charged itself or wound itself up just by the movement of your wrist. And it had an internal, I don't know, something inside it that kept it alive, so to speak, just by movement. So yeah, their watches they've been out for a good while, and the technology's got a lot better. There's good watches now that actually have got built-in personal locator beacons. You just press a button and it pings a satellite and it
transmits your location.
Yeah, helps on its way and all that sort of stuff. But
No, I think that watches as well, or I've said it for quite some time, and I just, because it makes complete logical sense to me how, with cell phones being what they are right now, I don't see why we don't have adaptations towards. I know that there's the smartwatches, which are great, but I think eventually it's just a no-brainer for us to kind of have them as a wearable. You know, like have your cell phone, like having this big clunky thing to walk around with just doesn't make that much sense. And if we could get it as a wearable like a watch, you guys agree or not so much?
I mean, I agree to a point. I just I haven't wore a watch since I was in the Navy, so, and that's been a number of years. But,
it's interesting to see. It depends. It's interesting to see the development of things. You know, who knows where how it will develop from laptop to a phone. Could go back to a laptop.
Yeah, that's more just overall speculation. Yeah.
You know, I mean, a good example in the 80s was the Betamax cassette and the VHS cassette. And the Betamax was far superior, and but VHS won through marketing, and it just went that trend. It's interesting how technology in society steers things.
Yeah. Well, there's a couple other reasons why VHS beat out Betamax. One, the machine and the individual videotape cartridges are cheaper. Secondly, there was actually more video that could be stored on a single cassette cartridge. Like, in fact, I think it was twice as much than that of the cheapest Sony Betamax. I never got to see one in person, by the way. You know, like as far as
I don't find anyone who did either.
I only got to see VHS.
It'd be interesting to see how things would be different if you were to go back 100 years and start again. If we would go down the same strand of development and technology. But that's hypothetical and we're never going to find out. So anyway, back to gold and silver.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're not, no regrets. Would you do anything differently with your silver investment stockpile?
Are you talking about me?
Yeah, Dior, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
What tips would you give people who are considering starting?
All right. If you're just starting out, I would 100% advise you stick with pre-1965 minted silver. If we're talking, and this is only mostly for the American audience, not so much. I mean, I'm sure you guys could probably find yourself some.
Just stop there,
over in England and Europe, you guys could probably find, Roosevelt and Mercury, pre-1965 silver dimes and stuff like that. But I would say,
what do you mean by minted for a start off?
What's that?
What do you mean by minted?
Okay, so when I say minted, I'm talking about coins that were actual, legal U.S. tender that still actually have a face value. If you were just to trade them as a regular coin, they'd be treated as like a regular dime. Right. But I'm trying to emphasize pre-1965 because after 1964, after the year 1964, they did away with using silver in our coins over here in the U.S. From then on out, they were pretty much all zinc and nickel and pretty much nothing of value.
What's the difference between the coins you see? What's so special about the coins you see in they're individually packed in plastic boxes, so they're untouched. What's all that about?
They're not scratched up. That's the whole idea. So they're trying to keep them ornate and everything. They're not scratched. So
does that mean?
I mean, I'm sure you've probably seen some like old silver Morgan dollars or whatever that probably come in like little cardboard envelopes with a little plastic viewing, like sleeve right there you're talking about. Yeah.
So does how much of a difference does it make? Because we're talking about if I got a tray full of silver coins and I've got a tray full of silver coins minted in plastic containers untouched. If I'm looking at the internet and thinking, right, the spot price is say $25. What will be the difference in sale between those two things if it's getting sold by weight?
Okay, so some people they will buy these coins and everything. All right, we're kind of talking about two different things here, but from just the regular trading and collectors item, collectors market standpoint, the ones that are in like the protected sleeves and all that, and
So they've got like those hard plastic cases, like clamshells or whatever, that go over each individual coin, each individual round, and that protects them from getting scratched and dinged and everything like that. There are people out there that collect this stuff. They collect the silver because it's precious metal, but they also collect it because there's an ornate sense about it. It's got something,
right,
some sort of artwork or whatever stamped into it, and with it not being scratched up, they can if they wanted to, they could potentially resell that and get a larger profit margin, not significantly larger profit margin from trading the coin with it not having any scratches or dents on it, versus say the same coin made from the same lot that's already dinged up and didn't have any protection on it.
Right. So you might get someone who wants a specific silver coin as part of their collection.
Yeah. Well, don't get me wrong. Like some of my silver, I've got some really ornate coins. Yeah. Now I bought them, knowing that I'm paying a large premium on them, and I'm not recovering that premium whatsoever. But I bought them because they got the Milan Labe King Leonidas stamped on there. They're actually double struck. They're not single struck coins. They're double struck. So the coin, the details are going to be a lot more. They're going to pop out a lot more. They're a lot more noticeable than single struck coins, for one. And like I said, they're just ornate coins, and like I said, they're still a part of my collection, and they're still a part of my trade and barter if I need to trade and barter. But I understand in the long run, if I'm trading and bartering these coins for the purposes of trying to pay bills, that I'm only going to get whatever spot price of silver is going to be. I'm not getting any money back. And yes, those coins actually have protectors on them. I've got protectors on all my coins, even the ones that are just single struck. What the heck? I forget the name of the British coins. They got Britannia on one side, and they got the Queen Elizabeth II on the other side.
Yeah. All right. So I'm just asking all these dumb questions because I've got a clue about it, and someone else might have the same sort of viewpoint as well.
I'm not an expert by any means. Like I said, I've got a little bit of knowledge, but I'm not an expert.
Oh yeah, you know more than me. Anyway, so another thing, we're talking about gold and silver. You don't necessarily have to store silver for investment use or any sort of monetary use whatsoever, because silver and gold to a certain extent has got other uses.
Oh yeah,
people
And you were talking earlier. Hang on one second. Let your dog out. Freaking air conditioner. All right, sorry. No, I got family that coming over to visit. Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, that's right. I was saying, people might store silver for other uses, such as I don't know, water purification.
Yeah, like colloidal. There's colloidal silver.
Yeah. Well, gesundheit. And colloidal silver, like you say, they may, I don't know, shave it down.
But you were mentioning earlier, prior to all this long-winded discussion, you're talking about, gold and silver being used, in electronics, and we're talking about, the conductivity, the properties, the conductive properties of gold and silver versus that of copper or aluminum or any of the other metals that you'll find in the manufacturing. And that's part of the reason why a lot of these precious metals have skyrocketed in value, other than the fact that there's fewer and fewer of them left, on the ground that haven't already been mined. It's just they've gone more into demand just because of the electronics manufacturing. They don't just have the intrinsic value for trade and wealth preservation. They've got a utilitarian purpose as well. And then, like I said, we talked about colloidal silver, making colloidal silver as a medicine.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, sorry, you're right there, Shadow.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was just saying. I mean, I've got two little silver rods, specifically for. They're tucked away in a drawer somewhere. I've got some batteries and some wiring and all that sort of stuff, so that if it ever came to it and I was in that much of a dire situation, I could consider making my own colored of silver.
Yeah.
So, you know, so they have got other uses to people, because the first thing people think about when you mention gold and silver is coins, bullion, bars, strips of card for, you know, investment and sustaining wealth and all this sort of stuff. But yeah, I wonder if anyone else out there has got any silver specifically for making their own colloidal silver generator, or for the old ancient method of water purification, because you know they used to have they used to put gold coins into vats of water to purify the water, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do say, this being a broadcast, that you know, if anyone's making their own colloidal silver, beware, you don't want to turn blue. The old myth of the grey man, who allegedly got a condition called Agyra because he didn't make it properly. So if you make colloidal silver yourself and you don't use the correct condensed water, there'll be too much of a sodium content in there, and it will saturate itself into your cells, and over time you'll gradually turn grey or blue, which isn't dangerous. You just appear to be blue or grey. Just like my picture.
You look like The Walking Dead.
Yeah, I mean that bloke who you search. If anyone searches for how to make your own colloidal silver, and all you will get initially is a warning or a series of warning websites coming up, going on about the Smurf man, I think he was called, and how he turned blue and all this sort of thing. But it didn't kill him. He eventually died of some sort of heart. I think it was a heart attack, myocardial infarction or something. But he drank over the odds solution of self-made colloidal silver, and he wasn't using the right water, and the sodium or built up in his tissues and turned him grey, basically. So yeah, easy to do if anyone looks it up. 3 or 4 9-volt batteries, wire them together, wires on the ends, crocodile clips into some 2 rods of silver into some condensed water, and then over time it will start bubbling, and you'll get colloidal silver solution starting to develop. And the stronger the solution, the more of a sort of yellow tinge it gets to. In there's certain grades you can actually buy color charts where on the orange end you can determine whether it's so many parts per million or not, and it gradually goes down the scale.
Yeah.
Personally, for me, I've got that as a contingency, but I've also got a couple of bottles of properly manufactured colloidal silver as well. Mine are 25 parts per million, but yeah, other uses.
And I'm gonna say, you asked the question. I'm gonna finish up that question though about where's the person starting out brand spanking new again.
Yeah,
stick with the pre 1965 minted coins from if you're in America, or if you got access to old American currency, stick with those. Stick with those silver dimes and quarters that were manufactured before the year 1964. Stick with the Morgan silver dollars, although you might be paying a little bit more of a premium on those just because there is actually a collector's market for a Morgan silver dollar. And then next would be to go for like coins that do have a face value that are recognized but are technically still collector, like they're like newly manufactured, like silver eagles and stuff like that person could collect. Another one would be a good one is like the silver buffaloes, silver eagles, and I'm sure the silver Britannians, I think that's what they call those, the Britannians.
Yeah.
The ones where, they got the image of that gal. I always thought she was Athena, but I don't think she is. I think that's just she's got it's got a Grecian round shield with the British Union Jack on the shield. She's got
Britannia.
Yeah, it's a Britannia. Yeah. stick with coins like that. I would avoid also I would avoid buying anything from China. There have been some issues where some of those coins from China, they might not be pure silver. Some of them aren't coming in for a full 1 ounce, even though they say 1 ounce on them. I've heard plenty of stories where some of those pandas, they weren't coming in for the full weight they're supposed to be. So it means that the purity of the silver isn't there, or they got something cast in the center of those coins. But yeah, just stick with some of the stuff that's like would be recognized as currency in the country that it was minted from, like Canadian maple leaves. You know, you can't go wrong with any of that, anything like that. Well, I just got done describing.
Yeah, good one.
And then stick with smaller denominations. Try to stay within the 1 ounce realm if you can. You know, I would try to avoid the fractional coins because you're going to spend a larger premium on the fractional coins. Even the coins that are 1 ounce, where they are meant to be divisible and shit hits the fan, you know, you can break them apart into, you know, 10th ounce or whatever. You're going to pay a higher premium for those too. That's all I got.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah, really good stuff.
Just,
I would literally pay for this lesson that I've had, just learning here and listening in and that type of thing too, because I had I picked up little pieces of information here and there from people being able to chat as well. But when you hear you guys chatting about it, and thank you for asking some of those questions as well, Preparedness Veteran, it really is useful. And I'm not blowing smoke either.
No, seriously, because there's some people out there, they don't know this stuff. I mean, years ago, I wouldn't have known this stuff.
Yeah, well, I look at it. There's a lot of people out there.
And beware, some countries, like I said, not all, but some countries, they'll actually charge you a sales tax when you're purchasing your precious metals, and some of them will charge a sales tax when you go to sell it or trade it on. That's just the way it is, you know, because we've steered away from precious metals. That's the way we've been for decades, going on for close to a century now. We've just been using strictly paper or electronic currencies, you know, like especially after the closing of the gold window in 1972 under President Nixon. You know, they stopped using precious metals as a nationally recognized currency here in the U.S.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I'll try to think of the most basic questions that people would ask that aren't immediately listening, and it's the questions that I'd ask. So I come across an interesting story a couple of months ago. It just come to me. I can't remember exactly which country it was in, but these organized gangs were getting. There's a new type of coin going around that seems to be being produced in many countries. It's a two-tone coin. It's gold around the outside, and in the center is a silver piece. And these people they were hammering out the center of the coin and selling the center of the coins. Don't know if they melted them down or what, because cumulatively the center of the coins were worth more than the entire coin as a face value itself. So top mark to them for thinking outside the box.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know if they're gonna be using tungsten for like silver coins, but I've heard stories where people cast tungsten in the center of like a gold coin or platinum or something like that. Somebody buying their precious metals from non-reputable places, websites.
Right. So if in the future we should all happen to go back to the gold standard again, what would the value of gold go up, or would it go down because more people will be adopting it?
You know, something tells me that, when, I don't know, I think the demand would go up and the supply is limited. It's limited, the supply is pretty much fixed at this point. I would think that the value would go up technically. Something just tells me that, when the supply is, sorry, not supply. The demand is higher than the supply. The intrinsic value of whatever it is you're selling is going to go up.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a betting man, but some just tells me that you're probably going to be paying a little bit more money in the future, in the near future, or a little bit more and whatever else.
Right. Yeah. So,
but sorry.
Sorry. Yeah, it's interesting to know that. I don't know if many people. I mean, this has been flying around the internet for a while, and many people should be aware of it by now if they're looking into any sort of monetary value based on in and around gold. Is that there's been rumours speculating that the actual gold holdings in Fort Knox isn't what is stated on paper, and it's been, I believe, after the Second World War, quite a few countries held their gold in Fort Knox. And if they were to demand to have it out again, because it's in there for safekeeping, then they wouldn't actually get what they actually hold because it's not there.
Yeah, I've heard stuff like that too. I couldn't tell you one way or the other. I always try to lean on the side of caution and assume that whatever the government's telling me is probably not true. Especially they don't want to expose themselves in a negative light. But we also got the Federal Reserve over there in New York. They've also got a large quantity of gold bars as well for the world reserve currencies and all that.
Yeah.
So it's not just Fort Knox.
Yeah. Just looking at a website here called goldscape.net, and it's talking about gold reserves. Yeah, China gold reserves. How much gold does China really have? And there's an interesting little picture here. And central banks ranked by the largest gold holdings. This is as of April 2021. So the top holder of gold holdings in the world is the United States with 8,134 tons. Followed closely, well, not closely, but second by Germany. Strange. 3,364 tons of gold.
I would have thought Switzerland would have been next, but okay.
Then you've got Italy, then France, Russia at 2,300, and then China. So China holds 1,948 tons of gold.
Now, is this metric tons or is this imperial?
I'm not sure. It doesn't actually state that. I'm presuming it's the imperial. So yeah, you've got China 1,948 tons compared to America 8,134, and then the scale going down is pretty bizarre. You've got Switzerland next 1,040, then Japan, India, and the Netherlands. It's pretty.
Sorry, I got interrupted, man. I seem to be a popular person today, but no, I was asking: is that metric or is that imperial tons?
I'm presuming it's imperial. Being an American website, it doesn't actually say. It just says tons. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, I should ask because it seems like a lot of foreign countries, they. When they manufacture like those precious coins I'm talking about, they also manufacture them in troy ounces. So,
yeah,
whether it be like say a Canadian maple leaf, a Chinese panda, or a Britannian or a silver, Morgan silver dollar or buffalo.
Yeah, I think when it comes to gold and even silver, there's two sorts of tier of. I think you indicated this earlier. Value. You're talking on the biggest tier and the most valued tier. You've got gold bars, which are huge chunks of value and weight, and they're quite.
They don't even have to be bars, mind you. They could be just 1 ounce coins or even fractional reserve ounce coins. Like there's an incredible concentration of wealth.
Yeah. What I'm saying is, it seems to be two tiers of of levels here with countries going down to the consumer. You've got on the larger end, you've got gold bars, gold and silver bars, and on the smaller scale, the average person isn't going to have gold bars. They're going to go for the coins and the jewelry and that sort of stuff.
Guys, I checked out our gold reserve, the Sweden's gold reserve. In April, the Riksbank owned 125.7 tons of gold. The market value of the gold was 82.5 billion Swedish crowns at the time. The bank gold reserve is stored at different places around the world, as there would be too much of a security risk if it was all stored in the same place. The Riksbank's gold reserve is stored by the central banks of the United Kingdom, the Bank of England, Canada, the Bank of Canada, the United States, the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, and Switzerland. And we have our own depot here in Sweden as well.
So that's interesting. That is the fact that a country disperses doesn't put all its eggs in one basket due to any potential single loss.
Yeah.
It's also interesting where it actually disperses those extra assets. Not noticed they're not storing any of that as a contingency in Russia or China.
Yeah. As I said, the last time I was looking at gold, by the way, because I was just playing with around with the idea of buying it, but I wasn't never going to buy it. Just like, hey, I'm playing the devil's advocate. If I was to go out and buy gold, how much is it? 6-7 years ago, gold was going for like $1,300, just under $1,300 an ounce. I think right now it's like $1,900 an ounce. Right now, that's just incredible how much it's gone up. Actually, it might be more than that now. I looked at the spot price probably a few months ago, and it was at over $1,900 an ounce.
I've heard the stories that you can actually buy gold, and all you get back is a certificate saying you own.
Yeah. That's the gold and silver futures. Those are the stupid futures. Do not buy those. Period. End of story.
Seems a bit of a, you're getting back a bit of paper and you're saying, well, what's all that about?
Yeah, you avoid those like the plague. So that's the futures. That's for trading on stock market. No. If you're buying that stuff, you better be reading the fine print. It better say delivers physical bullion. Something along those lines. Something, something guaranteeing you actually have, physical bullion in hand. The certificates and all that. That's the futures trading. That's for stock market. That's completely useless to the average Joe if they're not, into the stock market. If you're buying this for insurance purposes of ensuring that you're still going to maintain some of your financial solvency, some of your wealth and SHTF, you better make sure you got it in hand. Oh, and the other thing too, I would do your research on what safe deposit boxes, or if you decide you want to put it in a safe deposit box at a bank or some sort of depository, because as of lately over here in the U.S., there have been a lot of them that have been getting raided and seized by the local police and the different alphabet agencies for illegal practices, for allowing criminals to conduct their enterprises and all that crap. And so they end up seizing the banks, and they end up seizing these individual safe deposit boxes, and then people end up losing their wealth because the police seized it, and then they can't get it back because it's still under investigation, even though they themselves are just average Joe Americans, had nothing to do with the alleged illegal activities that were going on. As it happened over there in one of the safe deposit places over there in I think it was in Los Angeles. No, it wasn't Los Angeles. It was I think Beverly Hills in California. And there's a bunch of these people, like till this day, they're still trying to get their financial savings back, their jewelry back, their coins back, wherever they put in their safe deposit boxes, because they all got seized by the police.
Yeah, so this opens up a completely, a new kind of worms for people to consider, is the fact that if you're going to store any form of gold or silver, whether it be coins, bars, or whatever, then you've got to consider your security of where you're going to store it in your own house.
Yep.
And,
Yeah.
Whether or not you have a usual sort of things, a decoy box with a gold coin in it, or you bury it in the floor, bury it in the garden with a treasure map or whatever, it's a
midnight gardening.
Yeah. So as far as any sort of
and I was going to say, for insurance companies, it's hard for them to, heaven forbid your house gets ransacked by thieves or whatever, if you got homeowners insurance or you got some sort of fire protection insurance, your house gets burned down or whatever, you lose anything like a, severe storm, like a tornado or whatever like that. Unless it's like very, very, very well documented, it's going to be very difficult for you to get the insurance companies to reimburse you for any losses in those sorts of cases, to get financially compensated for losing that, because the insurance companies just can't take your word. I had $10,000 worth of precious metals in gold and silver, coins or whatever. And they got lost after the thief broke into my house and ransacked it.
Yeah.
In most cases, you can't. They won't insure that stuff because they can't prove they can't prove or disprove that stuff existed, or it was it's at its purest form, like we're describing. Like 24 karat 0.9999 fine, silver, gold, coins.
So is there any means and ways of ensuring your gold stash or silver stash?
Well, popular thing is doing what ShadowScoutSwede just talked about his country doing, and kind of having it in multiple different places. Yeah. Other things that I've seen people do is, like you said, do a little bit of midnight gardening, bury it in the garden. Maybe not necessarily a treasure map, but bury it in a place where you'll know where to find it. Other people won't.
Yeah.
Burying it. Safe deposit boxes. Again, there's some risk to safe deposit boxes, but people will put that stuff in safe deposit boxes and banks.
Yeah.
And just because you got it in a safe deposit box in the bank doesn't mean it's 100% totally safe. If that bank goes under, or if they feel the need that they have to do a financial bail-in, which seems to be a popular thing around here in the U.S. as of lately, especially with like banks like Wells Fargo. Financial bail-in isn't just limited to whatever is in your bank account. It's also it can also include up to taking whatever's in the safe deposit boxes in the local safes at the local banks, and they'll use that as a means of bailing the bank in, to keep the bank financially solvent from going bankrupt to whatever other bank they owe money to.
And if you got a big garden and you bury it, don't give any metal detectors permission. Take half of it. So, looking ahead to the future, the way trends are going, the governments around the world, the IMF, and the way sort of stuff are pushing us towards a cashless society. So, how do you think it will affect gold? If you physically are holding gold, silver, or even the value of it, how will that be affected, do you think, if we are all then thrust into a cashless society? Is it just a case of delete physical cash, insert a number in the bank account, and nothing will change? Or
so at that point in time, a lot of it's going to be just blockchain as far as the cash goes. It depends on how draconian they want to go. They might just say they might do what they did in the U.S. back in 1934, and like President Roosevelt, they actually confiscated the gold and silver. They made it illegal for anybody to possess gold and silver coins. That's part of the reason why Morgan silver dollars have not only the intrinsic value, but they've got a collector's value for a lot of the dealers and a lot of the coin collectors, because they started melting those down as they were confiscating them. But they could just do a total, confiscation of any gold or wealth or whatever, if they decide to go cashless. Also, if they go cashless, like I said, it's gonna be blockchain. It's gonna be, they're gonna have means of being able to turn on or turn off your access to your own bank account, or being able to deposit or withdraw money to your own bank accounts, for one. I know I'm kind of going off on a little bit of a tangent here on that, but at the same time, there's always going to be a black market. There will always be a black market. There's always going to be somebody that's willing to do some sort of trading or some sort of bartering outside that's not, state sanctioned or state recognized. So, I don't know. Like I said, it's gonna, you're going to be doing everything at your own risk, for one. Don't take financial advice from me, but I'm doing what I think is right for me.
Exactly.
So, has anyone else got any input, questions, comments? I know Hendo is there. He's a couple of comments there. Some people speculate with gold and silver ratio. Buy silver, then trading for gold when the ratio gets closer. Paper, gold, silver on COMEX, aka Crimex, blatant fraud by Wall Street bankers. What's that?
I have no idea.
COMEX.
And I was going to say, Hendo, I do agree with you. If you don't hold it, you don't own it. I've got this old saying: if you can't get to it within about 15 minutes to lay hands on it, you don't own it.
Good point.
I think I've just been put off buying any gold and silver now. It seems too many pitfalls unless you're willing to, I don't know, unless it's completely spare cash that you're investing in or using it as a security.
Yeah, I don't do any day trading with my gold and silver. I probably, again, I shouldn't say gold and silver. I've only got silver, but I guess if I was to trade right now, I could make a profit, because I bought a lot of silver when it was really, really cheap. Yeah. When I buy it to hold on to, or I buy it for emergency purposes to, give me a little bit more liquid funds to take care of bills as they come up. But there's, I buy it to hold on to. That's my retirement.
Looking at the long-term trend from 1971, it's been an upward trend all the way. Shallow up until 2009-ish, and then all of a sudden a steep rise all the way up to today. So the question is there a bubble? Is there a ceiling that we're going to reach before it's just going to completely level out? We know we can't speculate, but at some point the bubble must burst.
At some point, it must level out.
Yeah,
I'm sure at some point in time that it probably won't be a bubble burst in the sense like where we see financial bubbles for other things like real estate and name whatever investment scheme that people like to come up with these days, Bitcoin or whatever. Because at the end of the day, here's the deal. At the end of the day, and this is the way I look at it. The markets were to crash. Hell, my silver was to all of a sudden get devalued tomorrow, and be half the value what it is today. Then good. That actually encouraged me to go out and go buy more of it, because that means that there's less demand. So now I can go buy more of it and I can hold on to more of it. Because at the end of the day, that 1 ounce coin is still a 1 ounce coin. It's only. Its value's pegged to several things, but one of the things that they like to peg it to is the U.S. dollar, and it only the coin itself, the precious metals itself goes up and down based on the purchasing power of the U.S. dollar is today, because the U.S. dollar fluctuates in actual value, you know.
Yeah.
So the higher the prices for that silver, it's more likely it's also tied to the fact that that's also how much less purchasing power there is to the, you know, for the U.S. dollar.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like I said, this is kind of buyers beware. You know, you just, you know, you do everything at your own risk. You know,
Yeah,
me,
absolutely.
I look at it as if it's gonna go down, then fine. I'm gonna go buy more. I'm gonna go
Yeah,
buy more. I'm gonna
I
double
suppose,
down. I don't care.
I suppose the average person, if they want to dip their fingers into it, they can always,
Here's
you know, they'll start off buying a couple, and they'll think, well, yeah, nothing's happened so far, it's all going well, so they buy more and more and more. So it's up to the individual, I suppose, and up to their own trial and error.
I'm gonna say,
Like you say,
silver is not inflated. Gold is a little bit inflated. Silver is not inflated. In fact, it's been suppressed with all those futures I was talking about, the certificates that you mentioned. They've been suppressing the price of silver with those dang certificates, because if at one point in time, if one, we're talking prior to the founding of the U.S. Federal Reserve in 1913, if one ounce gold coin was the equivalent of 20 U.S. dollars prior to 1913, and one ounce silver coin was the equivalent of $1 U.S. dollar prior to 1913, then technically speaking, the leaps and bounds that gold has grown per ounce, silver shouldn't be at $25 an ounce. It should be closer to like $200 or $300 an ounce right now. That's being suppressed. But back to the gold, the whole ceiling and everything, the bubble, this proverbial bubble that everybody's talking about of it popping. There's a lot of experts saying we're already at the end of what we can potentially mine out of the ground as far as silver and gold is concerned. There's only so much of it around. And yeah, like I said, a lot of it's tied to the intrinsic value, but majority of the wealth at the moment, at this point in time, is tied to its utilitarian purposes of manufacturing electronics.
Yeah. Well, I'm almost gold and silvered out. Interestingly enough, there's an asteroid called 16 Psyche. It has gold worth $700 quintillion. And there's enough gold on it to give everyone on Earth $93 billion worth of gold each. But it won't remain precious if it hits the markets in large quantities. Anyway, what else we got?
I was going to say something like that. That would definitely, you know, I was talking about the supply and demand. Well, now the demand's still the same, but the supply is starting to be able to fill the demand. So therefore, the price is going to start to go down. If they were to actually start doing the space mining of all these asteroids that Elon Musk and everybody have been talking about.
Space mining.
Yeah.
What they will dig up in space, that would be really expensive.
Well, apparently there's meteorites out there that got gold in them.
Yeah.
What you want to hit your backyard or something. Then you can declare it to the Queen and stuff, the King. So, anyone got any more inputs or?
Well, the only other thing I could tie to this, it's not so much precious metals. There's other things that you could also have your some of your wealth pegged to. You know, other trade and barter items that might be of use, or you know, people might want just because it'll be in demand. You know, like I'm kind of segueing this into a little bit of trade and barter. maybe have some bottles of liquor and booze around, like hard liquor, stuff that won't go bad, stuff that will have a long shelf life. So as long as the container remains sealed.
Yeah, just some of the people who are getting addicted to things like cigarettes as well and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Pay anything.
I try to avoid the cigarettes just because I don't know how to keep the tobacco from not going dry or the cigarettes from not going bad. The chemicals used in the manufacturing process of the cigarettes to not cause the tobacco to go bad. But I've heard plenty of stories, where people say, I would still smoke that cigarette even if the tobacco was a little dry or a little old, because I need my nicotine fix now.
Absolutely, where will. I used to smoke for a number of years. 7, 8, 9, 10 years or whatever. Anyway, that was 20 or 30 years ago. And, when you order any cigarettes, you'll do anything to get one. It's just like another drug. And, we were quite regularly in situations where you'd go out on a military exercise, you'd run out of cigarettes and you'd end up smoking. You're breaking up your tea bags and smoking the tea leaves in the tea bags. So, and there's been plenty, like you say, cigarettes do go off. I've smoked quite a few cigarettes, and you think, well, where have these been? They've been stored in damp conditions, and it just doesn't taste right. And but if you want one, then fine, you'll just still carry on smoking it. Yeah.
I mean, aside from maybe carrying some like pieces of long leaf tobacco or tobacco that you'd use for a pipe, I honest to God don't know what tobacco a person could store for purposes of trade and barter in SHTF. I know tobacco itself, there is actually some medicinal purposes for using for wound dressings, but
yeah, they're probably they might even steer away from there and just start growing the cannabis even more. There's a more regular supply of stuff to smoke.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, whatever you smoke, people argue it's good for you and all this sort of stuff. But at the end of the day, you're still inhaling smoke into your lungs.
Yeah.
You're not designed for that sort of thing. But
cancer-causing smoke, might remind people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something that I definitely am happy to have given up. On the 2nd of January last year, I gave up cigarettes after about 25, 26 years. And yeah, it's something that I'd wanted to do for quite some time. And I actually gained a lot more energy. I was able to smell things again. I was able to taste, like my taste buds returned to normal, which is great. And obviously, there is irreparable damage. I get that and that type of thing. I'm well aware. But the truth is that, I'm just happy that I did stop when I did. And now I'm trying to reverse a lot of those impacts and stuff like that as well. But essentially, it's never too late. And I think that, stopping when I did, the worst thing that a person can do is kind of have conviction on other people, give people that feeling of conviction. So I think it's important to also just be mindful of other people's struggle with that type of thing as well. Because that's why I say for the longest time, for almost a decade, I wanted to give up. And it was just I'll give up soon, again and again. And then finally I just kind of said to myself, you know what, I'll just use the whole New Year thing, and it worked for me. So it was pretty good.
It is hard, very hard. I can remember when I stopped. I went on exercise for 8 weeks after, just as soon after I stopped, which is the worst thing you could do. And God, so many changes I experienced. The biggest one, which was quite bizarre, was my gums took about a week to fully get back to normal. They started itching, and it just, But I mean, these days, there's plenty of options out there for people to stop smoking and help and stuff like this, and encouragement from various sources. So it's not a lot, but it doesn't make it any easier. It's very hard. And even today, years and years after I stopped smoking, I just think back and oh, what a feeling that was to have a nice cigarette after a meal and stuff like that.
Yeah. And I don't know anything about the whole smoking because I've never smoked, but I've heard plenty of times where people start smoking just because they get stressed, especially military guys. They get stressed with the job or they get stressed with what they've seen on the front lines. I never got to be on the front lines. I was always I was inside a submarine, so all I got to see was a steel wall.
Well, yeah, I mean you get into you see people who start smoking when they're on operations and stuff like this, and basically they get into sort of a scrape or a dangerous situation or a close call, and they just the mindset changes. They think, sorry, I could be dead tomorrow, so I might as well have some pleasure, and they start smoking. Little do they know how addictive it is and how hard it is to stop. Like I say, there's nothing nothing better. There's no better feeling than having a nice big meal, and afterwards you sit back and just.
That was a bad mistake.
But something spicy as well, like a good curry. Like I still will honestly miss that. Like having like a very spicy meal, lighting up a cigarette afterwards like that. It's like something where you definitely get. And then there's also other events that inspire a person to have a cigarette afterwards as well. It definitely is something to be happy to be aware of. Sorry that my voice is like cracking. I'm kind of sick at the moment. The seasons are changing, so it's a bit of flu.
Well, if there's one thing we can probably come to an agreement on, unless you've got a serious stockpile of cigarettes, smokes, and tobacco, or access to tobacco, anybody who's a tobacco user today and the crap hits the fan, they're going to eventually be going cold turkey.
Yep.
If it's a prolonged situation.
Yeah, when the thing is, you don't want to be going cold turkey when everything else is so like bad too. You know what I mean? Like you want to be going cold turkey when you can have a cup of coffee if you want, or something like that. When things are going rough in SHTF and you don't have any, and you're going like, you know what I mean? Like you don't want to be deprived at a time like that. Like it's And
that's why I stock on some of the vices that people want. And I don't stock the coffee, because I don't know how to keep coffee good, and I don't drink coffee, so. But I got liquor. I got lots of liquor, and that's part of my investment for long term SHTF.
Never mind gold bars.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Never mind gold bars and silver. Have you seen the price of cigarettes these days? I mean, here in UK, a packet of 20 cigarettes costs between £12 and £20 for 20.
My buddy Aid was telling me that the reason why the cigarettes are so expensive over there is because of the value-added taxes that they have for pretty much everything that's getting imported in there.
Yeah,
that's a good portion of the expense, like almost a third of the expense.
That's right. Yeah. Well, fuel over here is 75% of the price of fuel here is tax. But cigarettes, they're trying to push people off them as well, so they just want to tax it like crazy so people can't afford them. But 20 cigarettes, 12 to 15, £20 a day. Oof.
Yeah.
Outrageous.
You gotta be broke. They got sin taxes on tobacco and alcohol over here too, but like it's not like over there. Not what you described. For 12 to 20 pounds a pack. So that's at least 15 to, I would say, about $24 US for a pack of cigarettes.
Yeah.
I don't know what the exchange rate is for £1 sterling for $1. Last time I looked, it was like $1.27 per £1 sterling, and then it dropped a little bit. So I don't know.
Yeah, somewhere around there. Yeah, but we're not as expensive as Norway, for instance. If you want to see the prices in Norway, double UK prices for everything. It's outrageous. So that's me for tonight, Shadow.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to depart, and we'll let you crack on.
Yeah.
So,
sorry to leave with preparedness veteran as well. I've also been on for a bit. I'm going to make some coffee and yeah, got a bit of chores done on this side as well. So thank you very much, everybody. Go for it, prepared. Go continue. Sorry.
Yeah, so just saying, I'll catch you later, GP. Dios, good information there, and we'll catch up with you some other time next week probably, and catch you all later.
Yeah.
You're a wealth of information. I really appreciate that, Dios. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I mean, I always felt that you guys knew more than I did about a lot of this stuff.
No.
Specifically, no way. Not
No
myself,
such thing as an
anyway.
expert.
Like I said, I'm far from an
either.
expert. I'm the jack of all trades, but master of none.
Yeah, I doubt that. Keep safe, buddy. Bye.
Yeah, you
Catch
too.
you
All
later.
right. Bye. Oh.
Yep. That's two of us.
Yeah, Alex, I've given you guys about most of the information that I know off the top of my head. But like I said, there's some stuff I'm sure I probably got wrong. Like I'm sure some of it either not got wrong because I didn't know, or maybe there's more information than what I was leading on to because I didn't know, at the time. Giving out the information. That's why I try to tell people, don't take my financial advice as gospel. This is for me and me only.
Yeah. Henda says in the UK, like South Africa, they tax the shit out of you. Yeah. And if I'm going to buy, let's say, a couple of silver coins from US and import it here to Sweden, I have to pay tax for those silver coins.
Yeah. And that's what I was saying. There is a tax. I mean, obviously, in your case, you're talking about an imports and duties tax on top of the regular tax. But like I said, there's a tax in some countries, some areas. They actually charge a tax on the purchasing of silver and gold.
Yeah.
Whereas the U.S., for the most part, they did away with that.
Yeah, I might get, let's say, 6 silver coins for a lower price in the States, but when I get them here,
you just lost a bunch of value for their import and duty.
So they will probably see what the value is on these pure silver coins, and they will add it to the price I bought it for. So
yeah.
So that's why it's better to try to find a dealer here in Sweden.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Find a dealer. I don't know if you guys have a precious metal exchange website of any kind that retails precious metals. I was talking about the premiums on the coins. When they're minted. Because I can get a Britannian, a British minted Britannian silver coin, and it's not going to be any more expensive or any less valuable than any of the silver buffaloes or silver eagles I can buy here in the U.S. But again, the imports and duties laws here are a little bit different than they are over there or anywhere else in Europe, because it seems like Europe they charge a little bit more for foreign made goods coming from the U.S. just because they don't want their markets to be overtaken by U.S.'s ability to produce goods and services.
Yeah, this Liberty Silver is Swedish website that sell and buy gold and silver.
Yeah, and that's the kind of thing I was talking about. People go to something, maybe not specifically that website, but something like it, and that's why I mentioned JM Bullion and SD Bullion and American Precious Metal Exchange over here for the U.S. portion of the audience.
Yeah, and here the silver is 7.73 crowns for the spot price for silver, and 661.59 crowns for gold. So that is the spot price.
Yeah.
Let's say we can check on silver. Canadian silver maple, 1 ounce. Quantity 1 to 24. You can pay for one probably 406 crowns for that. Actually,
you just brought up a good point real quick that you mentioned that, and I wish preparedness veteran and was it Guardian Fitness was still here, because I there's another thing I do want to bring up. Some of these websites too, and SD Bullion is one of them that'll do this. If you buy a minimum purchase amount of, quantity of coin or silver bars or whatever, usually it's based on a dollar amount. If you buy a minimum amount, you usually get free shipping.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
And
it.
if we check Canadian silver maple 1 ounce various years, the world's second most minted bullion coin in silver. And they sell to Liberty Silver. They buy it for 243 crowns. So, and then they add it when they sell it again. So if you sell your coins, that is what you would get paid for one coin. So
yeah, they're probably buying it for spot price or slightly less than spot price.
Yeah.
People need to understand. Like I said, when you do this stuff, understand you're probably going to be taking a little bit of a financial hit. But the idea is that if things were to get really, really bad, would you rather lose 15 to 20% of your financial value, or would you rather lose 100 or even 90% of your value? Yeah. I would rather take the 15 to 20% financial hit by, investing in coins, silver and gold coins, than just have all my money in the bank.
Yeah.
There's risk in everything you do.
Yeah. And they have also American Silver Eagle. So
yeah, silver eagles and silver buffaloes for the newly minted coins in the U.S. Generally speaking, tend to be the cheaper coins. The only coins that come in cheaper than that are going to be, like I said, the pre-1965 minted coins. Like the quarters and dimes that are 90% silver. All right, sorry.
If we go for, let's say, gold coins, the price is really high. They sell it for $22,000 for one coin, one gold coin.
22,000 crowns or $22,000?
22,000 crowns.
Okay.
So that would be around $2,200.
Yeah.
For one gold coin.
Yep.
Wait, they have $1. So we can check. Gold coin. Yeah, that is for that gold coin, $2,000 and $2,060. Oh, yeah, $2,000, 52 cents for one gold coin. $37 for the Canadian silver maple. They sell silver rounds as well. This is one of the Swedish sites who sell. I believe there is another one.
Yeah, that's why I always say, Hendo, to buy from online trusted websites. And that's why I keep mentioning sites like JM Bullion, SD Bullion, and American Precious Metal Exchange. I actually try to avoid American Precious Metal Exchange, not because they're not reputable, just because they charge a service fee, which is dumb because you're just buying silver and you're not going to be recovering that service fee from your silver when you go to sell. But yeah, maintain good relationships with even local coin dealers and precious metal dealers. A lot of those dealers, they are buying the stuff on just buying it for scrap value for a lot of that.
Yeah. This is another Swedish site that sells silver and gold. And this Canadian silver maple $5. They sell it for 381 crowns. So that's good.
Yeah.
A good price. That's a good price, actually.
Yeah, and I was going to say, historically too, if you buy the silver rounds versus buying silver bars, they tend to be a little bit cheaper. They tend to actually have a slightly lower premium. I don't know why that is. I have no idea, but that, generally speaking, that tends to be the thing. And like I said, I know this because I think I've got like 4 or 5 silver bars, but everything else is all silver rounds.
Yeah. This is a 1 ounce South African silver Krugerrand. And the price is 390 crowns for it. They have also 1 ounce Austrian silver Vienna Philharmonic. 390 crowns too. They have silver bars too, but 1 kilo. But who needs 1 kilo silver bar?
I mean, I'll take it, but I don't know what I'm going to do with it. It's a pretty big concentration of wealth.
Yeah. And it's 999.9 pure silver. So,
yep.
But you have to pay for it, 11,500, and so it's about $1,000 or something. And they sell also historical silver coins, but they don't have it at the moment. One kilo bar makes a good door stopper. Just paint it black.
Paint it black.
Yeah, and Hendo says, I still need a silver South African silver Krugerrands. Yeah.
I'm gonna go nuts. What the hell did I do with that stupid calendar? I had a calendar sitting out and I don't remember what I did with it.
Yeah.
The joys of moving, man. You unpacking stuff and you can't figure out what the heck you did with everything after you unpacked it.
Yeah. And I don't want to know what kind of nightmare it would be to send 1 kilo silver bar from Sweden to Texas. I don't want to think about how much that would cost.
Yeah, and then I'd be paying an import fee on that. There it is. Put it over here. What the heck? Yeah, because there's going to be an import. There's going to be a tariff that's charged for importing precious metals.
Yeah. There is another website that sells silver and gold too. Tavex. And the interesting thing with this Canadian maple leaf silver coin is that works. You can actually pay with that one.
Yeah, you saying it has a face value?
Yeah, this one you can actually
use as legal tender.
Yeah, you can actually buy things with it because
the same goes for, I believe, silver eagles here in the U.S. You can do the same thing. Although I wouldn't advise doing that because you're that silver coin is actually worth far more than its face value. You know, that is stamped on it. Mom, I don't know. She still yapping? No, she's not here. It's just me right now.
She take off in the car?
I don't know.
Oh,
no, she didn't. I thought she was with you in the RV.
No, we got problems there.
Sorry about that, guys. Got people that are visiting with me. I got family that came out to visit. They're helping me with this house that I moved into.
Oh. Yeah, as a South African gold part of our culture, saw gold price rise since 2004. Yeah. Been following gold and silver since 2008 economic crisis, which was never fixed at all. Um, I'm gonna see if I can find. Um, yeah, Hindu. Silver Eagle are a little bit higher in price. And here is another Swedish site that you can buy silver and gold. Silver bars, silver bullets if you want to have one.
Yeah, I looked at those silver bullets, and I'm telling you, they there's a huge premium on those bullets, and that's probably a 5.56 NATO round.
That is a 2 ounce 308 caliber 7.62 NATO silver bullet. If you have problems with werewolves, you might need those. But they are really expensive. But they sell also silver rounds. 1 ounce buffalo silver round.
It's Robin Powell.
Yeah, those silver buffaloes for the newly minted coins, those are generally, at least for the U.S. market, those are usually going to have your lowest premium.
Okay.
In fact, I think they usually come in a few cents lower than the silver eagles. Usually, the majority of my newly minted silver coin or silver round collection, as you want to call it, as you could call it, they're silver buffaloes. The other half is basically, like I said, that pre-1965 minted silver coins, like the dimes.
Yeah. Feast dollar silver round. Elemental mint. Some bucks. Silver collectibles, rare and vintage. Okay, that's high price. Out of stock. American silver dollars.
Yep, those are the coins that have a face value for trading as legal currency, but the intrinsic value is going to be much higher. Going to be much higher than what the face value denomination of the coin.
Yeah. 1878 to 1904 Morgan silver dollar. I am familiar with that one. And that one was a really expensive one. Turnpoint slab coins, ones in the plastic holders. Some folks love to melt down their silver rounds and make art of it, including silver dragon statues. Okay. But that is what I call is waste of silver to make art of it. But so there are you need to buy silver and gold coins. Look closer to melt value. Don't buy overpriced fancy stuff they try to sell on TV. Yeah, I agree with that. Well, where is CR tonight? Well, CR is busy today. And Bob, I haven't seen him today at all. So I have no idea where he is. But you never know, he might pop up. Yeah, it's a tendency to pop up.
Yeah, sorry about that. Got some cats meowing now.
Yeah.
The air conditioner, I guess, on my folks' RV sitting out in my driveway right now quit working, and they figured out that it keeps tripping the circuit breaker. Well, they got their cats out there, and the cats are roasting in this 104-degree heat, so they're bringing them in so they can get this troubleshot as far as the breakers go. And the cats are in the house and they're freaking out because they're not used to being in this house.
Yeah. Yeah, I can hear the cats meowing.
Yeah, it's one particular cat is being really vocal about this because he's not used to being here. It's an unfamiliar place.
Yeah, it is, but they get used to it. You have to give them a couple of days and then...
Yeah, him especially, he needs at least 2 days.
Yeah. It's so much new things, new smells. Yes, ER is normally here, but not today.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought someone was missing. CR is normally here. Bob's normally here.
I got a message from CR on Instagram, so I'll be busy this time, but I'll try to drop in. I don't think he will have the time for it, so...
Yeah, if he ain't already here, then he's probably ended up catching the replay of the live stream.
Yeah. Why not? If silver and gold prices rise, you see another stampede for it. Yeah, probably.
How's it going? It's going all right.
I think to stock up on silver is a good retirement fund.
Yeah. My kitten is loving having all these other cats around, but this one particular cat, he ain't liking it too well in here.
Henda says, wait till the next financial crisis kicks in. Commercial proper bubble bursting and now housing bubble. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that.
I don't know what the slab coins are. Hendo was talking about don't buy slab coins. I don't know what that means.
I'm not really sure what slab coins are, but I never heard that word before, so I'm not really sure.
The coins that I've seen, most of them, especially the ones that are like really ornate and really decorative, that the ones I was talking about, they're double struck, that got a really super high premium because of how ornate they are.
Yeah.
Those will have like a cover on them, but those covers are removable. They're not like they're permanently attached. Like they usually got like a screw-on cover or some sort of plastic or cardboard envelope that they come in.
Federal Reserve with JP Morgan bailing out troubled banks. What could possibly go wrong? Everything.
Yeah.
Those coins you get in plastic holders at coin shops that are rated by agencies. Yeah. Good point.
I figure if it comes in a cover and I can't remove the plastic cover, it probably, I don't think I want the coin because I don't know if it's made of true precious metals or not.
Yeah. NGC coins, yes, that coins you mentioned. Okay. I had in mind actually to buy some silver coins to invest in.
I'll have to check out that link on that website after the stream.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Shadow, I don't mean to dip out on you, man, but my cell phone is on the verge of dying as far as the battery. Like, anytime I do these live streams, it takes a major drain on my cell battery, and I can't even put it on the charger and continue to stream because the battery then starts to overheat. So
yeah,
I'm gonna have to cut myself loose here. But
yeah, no problem.
But hey, thanks for having me on, and
You're very
glad
welcome.
to give some people some insight. You know, like I said, there are better people out there got a little bit more knowledge on this stuff. They've been doing it way longer than I have.
Yeah.
So, anyhow, yeah, you guys take it easy, and hopefully I'll remember you're streaming next Saturday. I'm still trying to get used to this whole night schedule. You know, I woke up at like 1 in the afternoon over here after
we'll
getting off
stream
work at like 5 in the morning.
Yeah, we'll stream next week.
All right. Anyhow, that's all I got. I'm out. See you guys later.
Take care. Stay safe. God bless.
All right. Bye.
Yeah. I opened that link about slave coins. I'll check that later. Night shift, yeah. Yeah, it's a different time difference, obviously, between Texas and Sweden, obviously. Yeah, I agree, Hendo. I agree. But it is what it is. I'm happy anyway. Well, it's better to have some joining than no one. So you have to look at it that way. But more is more fun. But it has been a little bit low on people today, but it is what it is. People have things to do, so they maybe don't have the time. Yeah, I noticed you posted that the link in White Family Farms groups. Yeah, I appreciate that. I agree with that, Hendo. Busy weekend, even with the Russian internal madness today. Yeah, that is a total mess up over there. Yes, during the lockdowns, people stuck at home, forced online, had more time online. Now people too busy with their lives. Yeah, well, that is something you can't control, really. It is what it is. There are things that just popping up. You might plan for joining a stream and then something pops up that is obviously more important. So you have to deal with. So you have to do that. I'm gonna try to see if I can find something. See if I can find something. I don't know yet. Um, CR gave me an idea for a topic, but I don't know really how I gonna put it, the title or title it. Well, it's it's July 1st, so 3 days after that, on Tuesday, it's 4th July, so probably security and safety and festivals, because 4th July in US is basically more like of a festival. So safety and security, maybe. I need to figure that out a little bit better. But I'm working on it. So that would probably be something related to that. So, hey Ryan, good to see you. There you go, Ryan. Good to see you. Well, how are you doing, Ryan? I hope everything is okay with you. Yeah, after a while, we go over to more like of a chill and chat. You're most welcome, Ryan. Yeah, stockpile silver and gold. If you can afford it. I don't know much about silver or gold, but I know a little. If you can afford it, and people was collecting gold to extract it. Yeah. Yeah, old motherboards. They're golden then. They still have gold in the motherboards. Been studying silver gold bullion for 15 years. That's a long time, Hendo. But if you, as I said, if you can afford it, buy one coin every month and you will have 12 coins in 12 months. So, used to be a stamp collector, then a coin collector. Yeah, I have been a stamp collector myself. So, you can use those 99.9 silver, pure silver coins as your retirement fund. So when you get a lot of them, and you sell some of them when they go up in price, you will have some money. Annoyed that I didn't buy much more earlier when it was cheaper. Yeah. When I was a kid, 8, 9 years old, I collected stamps. Um, and when I heard about that people collected coins and bills, um, that was really fascinating, actually, especially when you're a kid. Yeah, stamp collecting was a hobby for me too. So when I was a kid, I wanted to begin to collect coins because when I heard that people had coin collections worth a lot of money. Um, but I never get into the coin collection, actually, um, collecting coins. But actually, I wish I began with that earlier. But being a student of history my whole life, coin collecting is history that you can touch with your hands. I agree with that, Hendo. Definitely. It is history. And it is the same thing with stamps too. Empire's history. I agree with that. I definitely agree. I always have been interested in history. Romans, British, Portuguese, Dutch empires, etc. Yeah. The Mongolian Empire were pretty big too. Yeah. Even as far back with the Vikings. Yeah. Mesopotamia, yeah. You can learn a lot of things from the history. Well, I'm surprised you don't have a Viking collection. No, I don't have that. Coins of Vikings, part of your ancestors' history, bit probably expensive. Yeah. Let's see. We can check that. I hope. These are really expensive coins. £750, £850. £1,250 for a coin. Anglo-Saxon and Viking coins. As I said, they are expensive. £1,850. And the other one, £1,750. So that is really expensive for Anglo, Viking, Danish East. No, Hendo, I don't have any coin shop here. No. In that case, might find in Stockholm or Gothenburg, you might find coin shops, but not in my city where I am. We don't have any coin shops here. Yeah, probably. They probably do. But I agree, Hendo, that US has vibrant coin shops. Yeah, they have more of those. They are quite popular. So for £1,800, I can't afford that for a coin. Yeah, I agree, Hendo. Yes, being the main cities here in London, many closed down, especially after the lockdowns, destroyed many small businesses. Yeah. Yes, huge coin shows in the US. In Vietnam, like here, things going backwards fast. Yeah. We don't even have coin shows here. Unless it's a coin collector event or something. Cost of living killing us slowly financially. Big trouble ahead. They see the barter system growing faster over the next 3 to 5 years. Yeah, you are probably correct, especially in UK. Yeah. The cost of living is really high. I agree with that. Too high at some point. The cost of living increases here as well, so that sucks. But it is what it is. it reached a tipping point, expect much higher crime rate, etc. The Great Reset, all planned by the global elite for decades already. Yeah, you are probably correct about that, Hendo. I haven't keep me updated. Too many ignorant folks out there will go hungry, making them dangerous. Yeah, I agree. Too many dependent on the state help benefit system. Yeah, but that is the sad thing in the whole. Yeah, that is really sad that there is a lot of people who are dependent on state help and benefit systems. But it is what it is. And it is that way all over the world, my friend. Yeah. Well, guys, I think I'm gonna begin to wrap things up. I need to get some sleep, actually. So, thank you guys for stopping by. I appreciate that. And I will see you guys next week. Same time, same channel. Thank you, Hendo. Take care, guys. Stay safe. God bless. Be part of the solution, not the problem. And I'm out. Indeed, Hendo. Indeed. We are always still learning something new. We all do.